There it is.
What's up? 388 the wormhole. Welcome, guys. Me and Mr. Smiley's Gardens hanging out currently. How you guys doing? What's up, Mr. Smiley?
Shit, man. Sunday night. It was a good episode, dude. There was cool people. Interesting story. Another interesting story. No doubt.
What's up?
What's up?
Background. Who's that guy?
Same here with it.
My chat. Bring chat up. Cheers, everybody. Jason Nystone. X Elite. TPX. I see me. Redpill. Brittany Teasley. How you guys doing? I gotta get out of top chat. There.
That was cool though. Hanging out, man. It's been a busy day. I wasn't much in chat all day. I was having my hands tied up, but I was listening.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a great day myself with got to spend the day with my oldest daughter. And it's been a minute, I get to see her.
That's right. She drove up this time, huh? She drove up.
Yeah. It was nice not to have to make that ride for one. And then it was nice to have all three of my daughters together.
Yeah.
Which isn't easy to do anymore. But man, it is. Even if they were bickering or they could be bickering or whatever, they didn't, by the way. It's always nice to have them under the same roof. I'm always grateful for that moment.
I'm sure they enjoyed it, getting to hang out together too, especially if they don't see each other often. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, they don't. They don't get to see each other that often, to be honest with you.
But yeah. I just say that because I know, like, that, I don't know, sisters don't always get along.
Oh, yeah, there are those days. There has been times where where she's came up and they just didn't get along. Like you said, sisters, brothers, siblings, it happens.
It does.
Thankful. Well, it's not the case today. We were all pretty grateful for the moment.
That's cool. It was a beautiful day too. Was it nice up by you guys? It was like warm.
It was at least somewhat warm, but it's been like spotty, like rain all day.
Oh,
it's fixing it.
I think we're getting...
It was pouring last time I looked out there. It was raining pretty good.
Dude, it was like in the 70s, shorts and t-shirt weather down here. A little windy about it. Wind almost made it feel good.
You guys are usually like 10 degrees warmer, like during the summer months. It seems like something close to that.
Seems about right.
I got out, after she left, I got out, was able to do a little bit of the stuff I was planning to do today. Like get out, wash the pots. Oh man, that's my least favorite part of gardening is washing the pots. Going through, I don't even mind cleaning the tents as much as I do something about washing all the pots, man. And again, I guess I'm grateful for the weather being warm enough to be able to do it out on the back porch versus trying to wash them 10 gallons in a laundry tub are a motherfucker to wash. They're a motherfucker to wash. But outside, totally different story, man. I just run the hot water hose out. I'm that big, that lazy. Run the hot water hose out, fill a 5-gallon bucket, then rinse everything down, wash everything with a soapy sponge and bucket, and then go back and spray everything off. Stack them like dishes in the sun to dry. And you know. So it's much easier to do it outside than inside. I only got partially done. Personally.
No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of washing the pots. That's why I like being able to reuse them. But I did run into an issue that I noticed. Fucking mouse dug a hole, dude. It's like a hole like this big in the side of my pot. Like the fucker was trying to. I don't know what he was doing. If he, I don't know. I'm assuming he could smell worms, possibly, and he was like, "Fucking, this is the spot," and you know what I mean. X marks the spot, and he dug through my fucking pot and kicked a bunch of dirt all over the floor and shit. Little fuckers. They keep eating all my top dresses too. Fucking dickheads. I pick up a bag of something and there's a hole in the fucking side of it. Son of a bitch.
That's one thing I've never really even thought of, to be honest with you, as far as like IPM or whatever, man. Lice, you know, we've had, you know, Farmer Willie
Yeah,
talk about the other.
Yep.
You know, and even when he mentioned it, I was like, really? That's on our, you know, our combat list right there. Nice. Oh shit. But I guess it is. So it could be a real battle. I guess they like, besides like, you know, in this case, it could have been the worms. It could have been them just like trying to snag up some of that fabric for, you know, a den or whatever they call that.
Oh yeah,
There.
it's Gus
But
Gus.
they also like,
jacket.
they like cannabis too, don't they?
I don't know, man. They really. I've had a couple times where I was like, you know, I had little baby sprouts, so I think they had some microgreens on me. You know, because I came in and I had six little baby sprouts like this tall up out of the ground, first set of leaves, whatever, and fuck, come in the morning, they were all just all the tops were eaten right off them. So I don't know if that was you know, if that was the mice or something else or whatever. So yeah, they're little dickheads. But I'm
So
gonna.
do you, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say I'm in a barn in the middle of a field. It's like inevitable. They're nonstop. I gotta get more traps though. And they're up in the roof. They're up above me. I seen one of the little fuckers climb up along the ceiling. I was like, "What the fuck?" He was like running along like the crack of like between the wall and the ceiling, and like, yeah, like Spider-Man style shit. It was wild.
That is pretty amazing. People don't, you know, I don't actually even really think about them being up that high, but you're right, man. Them little fuckers can climb.
They're amazing little creatures, dude. They get through anything. It's fucking crazy. But the will to survive.
You know,
I've
I've
tracked a
actually
few, but
seen,
they get smart about that shit. They're pretty smart, man.
I've seen a thing, and I'm pretty sure it's, uh, I could be missing, but rats actually have to gnaw on shit to keep them teeth down. If they didn't, that tooth is constantly growing and it would protrude through the skull. If I, or you know what I mean? It fucked the bite up. If I remember right, that's what happens if they don't chew. Is that tooth's ever growing, and if they don't keep gnawing on shit, it will actually get to where they can't bite, or it'll want to grow up through the top of the skull.
Huh. That's crazy. Rats are fucking gross too. I've never seen one around there, but I did. Okay, so I have like a one of them plastic folding tables, you know what I mean? Like I have a couple of those side by side, and that's like where I put all of the transplants, you know, like that's my little veg table or whatever. So I don't know what the fuck it is. I've not seen this thing in there. But I come in there the one time and I'm moving shit around, and I shit you not, there was a turd the size of my fucking pinky. That was no mouse turd. The size of my pinky laying on this fucking table, and I'm like, The whole time I was like, what the fuck shit that up on the table? And how the fuck did that get in here? You know, like I'm picturing a good sized little rat or something, man. That was a big fucking turd to be just chilling on the table. Like, I don't know. It wasn't like possum or nothing like that big, but I mean, it was a good sized turd. Big rodent.
I had a fucking raccoon one time come into my pantry at the other house. There was he got up in the soffit, and so there's like a country style porch that went across the front of the house, and somehow he was getting in from like the house through. He ran through the like the first floor joists and into there was a pantry that had like a drop ceiling in it, right? So he had made it all the way to the pantry, figured out a way to the pantry, and had fucking moved a ceiling tile and was in there fucking trying to get into the fucking food and shit. One night we
That's
like the
smart
next day we were
raccoon,
like
man.
one night we kind of heard something and we're like, nah, no way. And the next day we opened up the pantry and there was shit fucking moved around in there. Holy shit, there was something in there. And the next night, fucking kind of fucking keep listening, we could hear him, man. And that motherfucker, he was definitely in there, and it was bifold doors. So we kind of like shoved shit up against the doors because we didn't want that motherfucker running through the house and shit. And he ended up fucking crawling back through and going back out that night, but I ended up having to fucking set traps for him. I ended up fucking catching that thing about a week later, and that he was no little fucking raccoon. He was a big motherfucker,
Huh.
big fucking raccoon. And everybody I talked to, and everybody everything I've read said it's a good thing you didn't fuck with that raccoon because then when they're cornered like that, they will attack, man. They will
Yeah.
attack your ass when they're cornered like that. They fucking he was vicious even in the cage, man. When I was like taking him to set him loose and shit, man, he was a feisty little motherfucker. I was like so glad. I was like, yeah, glad broom wouldn't even have been enough. You know what I mean? Wouldn't even have stood a chance. Wouldn't even stood a
A
chance.
broom? Is that what you said?
Well, what else? Yeah, what else you got handy in the fucking kitchen right close and handy? You gonna fucking throw butcher knives at that motherfucker while you're in the kitchen? No, no. First
Something.
thing
What
you
is a
got's
broom?
about 5 fucking feet with a broom.
Fucking cast
Yes,
iron
closest
pan would
thing.
have done something better than a broom.
I would have tried batting that bitch across the room. Fucking, I don't know. I don't know. Didn't happen. I'm glad.
They're solid, man. If they're good size, that's a solid little animal there, raccoon. They're vicious. I agree. I wouldn't want to fuck with one either. I think they were
I,
fighting.
I, will-
Did I ever tell
I'll
that
be a.
story when I was out at the barn, Eagle? And there's
Uh,
so like, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Like, there's the main part of this barn, right? And then the part I'm at is like kind of built off the one wall of the barn, basically. So from the backside of the flower room, there's two doors that would actually go into the barn area. But I never go in there. I just like those. I never go through there. I never go in there. It's just it's all blocked off, right? Like it's a pain in the ass to go through there. But I'm in there trimming one night, like lollipopping, and like the rows kind of go right up by that wall, you know. And I'm down on the end, freaking, sitting on the ground trimming up those bottoms or whatever, and I don't know what happened, but there was some kind of like raccoon possum tangle, but there was like the most vicious sounding animal fight happening on the other side of the wall from me, to where I'm like, oh shit, like listen, them fuckers go, and like it got my attention, and they're like, ah, yeah, and it's going on for like a minute. I'm like, god damn, they're at it, All of a sudden, it's like, wham! I hear them one of them get slammed up against the wall of the fucking place. I was like, holy shit! I was thinking they were coming through the door or something, man. It was fucking. I don't know what it was though. I never heard what it was. One of them yiped and fucking. Then it kind of like went quiet or whatever, and Yeah, it was like, but they fought for a good couple minutes, like pretty hardcore. Like, scared the fuck out of me though when I was sitting there. Chicken shit, I guess.
I'm not sure what the fuck was out there last night, man. I fucking tend to wander out in the fucking yard in the middle of the night. Quite a bit and use the restroom. It is what it is. I live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Who doesn't like a good breeze, I guess? But nonetheless, fucking, there's fucking, and I don't know what the fuck I heard last night, man. Coyote, whatever, fucking, but man, it was, it was wow. It's just, I don't, it was weird to describe. It sounded like, just, it sounded like a small dog being attacked or something close to that effect. So it was,
Yeah, that's what this sounded like. Was two small dogs fucking just giving it all they had at each other. You know, that's why I was thinking it was maybe like a raccoon or possums or something like that. Possums, I don't think really fight. Them things just seem to want to not do shit. You know what I mean? They just don't care. They just walk around and then you get after them, they just fucking play dead. They're like, okay, leave me alone. Like, raccoons seem to be more of the vicious type. What's up, Captain?
Hey, how's everyone going tonight in the wormhole?
Good, man.
good out here. Wow.
And the cheddar.
And we
Got all the superheroes.
yeah, trying to get Cheddar Bob on here and see what superhero he shows up to tonight. Maybe he has multiple personalities again. We back to Spider-Man, Iron Man, or Aquaman?
Cheddar Tello.
The great reveal.
The great
reveal. Oh, Batman? Is that
now
Batman?
he needs a pumpkin patch.
Just a Batman tonight. Just a regular dude with lots of money.
Is that really your thing then? Like you're always gonna have a superhero? If I see you without a superhero shirt, then you
Yeah. I generally wear these all year round.
okay.
So
Dig it.
yeah. I've got, I don't know, 20, 25 or so. So they can last me a month. Then they just get rotated.
Get the month rotation.
Yeah.
Head to the laundromat with all your fucking.
Yeah, I have my color coded calendar.
That's funny as shit. No, honey, today I'm Spider-Man. I told you every fucking second Tuesday it's Spider-Man.
Can't you see the Spider-Man sticker? It's on Tuesday.
I can't be the Hulk today. This is bullshit.
Sorry, sweetie, I can't be Superman until Saturday night.
So is it can I hold it to be that true? So like if I run into somebody and namely you, of course, and I'm like, oh hey, Jennifer, and I'm like, so prove it. Let's see the superhero. And if I catch it, like you ain't got it on, am I gonna be like, what? It's Family Guy, isn't it? That one guy, he's a phony. Everybody, he's a phony. That's not Cheddar Bob. He's a phony. That's not.
It's a giggity goo. Giggity goo.
Yeah.
Giggity goo.
I will admit that there are days in the summer where it's too hot to wear these, but what really I started wearing these fishing for the long sleeves and to keep the barnacles and the salt water and stuff from really fucking my forearms up on the traps and stuff. So it was just like, and it was thin enough to not like be too heavy, and it dries out really quick. So on hot days you can splash some water on yourself and it cool off, and then it dries off pretty quick. So
yeah, superhero outfits are fucking the whoop, man. They're made to be that way. It's probably fireproof too, isn't it?
I don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
I have dropped a couple. I have dropped a couple hot cherries on it, and they just bounced right off. So
Oh, there you go, fireproof as well.
fire retarded.
Retarded. All right.
Yeah.
We'll go with
I
that.
need that. I put too many holes in my shirt.
Me too.
You're not
Goddamn
supposed to
hash.
fall asleep while you're smoking, Cap.
No, it's the little pieces of hash and concentrate that fall from the joint down.
No, I know. That's my main sarcastic humor.
They're so telling.
And then you go to
too.
grab those suckers and they're just like, yeah, fuck, that was hot oil. Fuck.
They're so telling too. How I never once have I seen somebody with like a burn in their lap or like on their belly. You know what I mean? Have I
Nah,
thought,
right
wow,
here.
that's a cigarette burn? Never. I went, smoker. It's never.
That's funny.
It's like when you see the lighters with the dark ash on the bottom. You're like, I know.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
another good tell right there.
That's why I leave the stickers on the lighters. So that shit doesn't get on the lighter itself. You just get
Sure.
that brown spot right there on the sticker where you cover the top of the bowl.
So I could get away with that because I was a mechanic, Cheddar Bob. So I always had an excuse why the bottom of the lighter was dirty. But
There you go. You were a mechanic?
yeah, I used to do that shit. Nuts.
Did
and
you have
bolts
a-
and all that? Tires and brakes?
Did you have a particular vehicle that you like to work on more than others? I know I have friends that enjoy.
Certain make or model?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ones that you can see your foot through the engine compartment.
right.
One
I
that
wasn't
you
a
can
fan.
fit in.
I wasn't a fan of working on like foreign vehicles like BMW. Like European makes and models were kind of different.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the Toyota Hondas and stuff. Subarus, I don't know. They were pretty easy too, I guess. But yeah, GM stuff was pretty easy.
Yeah. I've never been. I admire people who know stuff about cars and vehicles a lot. I don't know shit about vehicles, and I wish I did. It's because it translates into a whole knowledge of systems. You know, you can break other stuff down when you kind of understand how an engine works. You know.
Yeah, dude, you're a fucking mad scientist when you're a mechanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so many different trades that covers. You're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a fucking HVAC, you're all that. Because all that's on the car, you know what I mean? So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's kind of a thankless role in a lot of ways, and I don't know. I just got tired of it. That's the thing. I lost my spark for it, man. It used to be an enjoyable thing to go in and figure out a car problem or tear a motor apart or whatever, and then just I don't know. I mean, honestly, it was after like I got divorced and then my dad passed away, and those were like I don't know. My dad owned a shop, you know what I mean? We'd always talk shop and shit like that. So it was like I don't know, just after like a year after he passed away, it just kind of was like I had this realization that I really don't fucking care to do this at all anymore. So, and I don't know why, but I don't care to anymore. So, who knows? Maybe I did it just to fucking subconsciously be like pleasing my dad somehow or something. I don't know. Who knows how
To
our
appease your father. I find myself trying to do that to my mother, but I just kind of gave up after a while.
We all do, man. It's a subconscious thing. Everybody wants your parents to be proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you know, what I mean, or somebody to be proud of you, right? Like you know. So it's a subconscious thing. Like everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody, you know, we were kind of talking earlier before we went on air too. You know, the guests tonight. You know, they're probably braver than any of us. You know what I mean? Like honestly, like shit, I get embarrassed if I'm the only dude with a hat on in the same room, you know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody else doesn't, or you know what I mean? Or if everybody else has a tie and I'm the dude dressed in my normal shit, whatever, you know, you kind of feel out of place or whatever, and it's different. So I don't know. I just think it's cool. They're give them all the credit in the world. 20 some years they said or something, since 99 or something like that. They were performing.
I think they said they met in 99.
Okay.
And they've been performing since 2011.
But still, man, that's a long fucking time to be with anybody. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, so that's cool too. So,
especially in the social atmosphere that they would have been in, you know, it hasn't been exceptionally friendly to drag queens or LGBT community, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. It does. You're right. I give them guys a lot of credit because when I was asked to, you know, reach out to those guys and get them on the show, you know, honestly, I didn't think a second about it because it was, you know, somebody that helped me out, you know, quite a bit. And I was like, yeah, you want a favor from me? No problem. No problem at all. Disney didn't even hesitate. Didn't even hesitate. But I was slightly nervous, to be honest with you. And up until the, you know, the airing of the episode, you know, earlier tonight, you know, I was I wasn't unsure how the, you know, the community would take it. I was unsure, you know, I was just nervous. I was just nervous, all in all, to be honest with you. And then I kind of had this like thought to my head, you know, and I was like, I told Smiley this before we fired up too, is, you know, this anxiety that, you know, I'm kind of like facing through this one fucking episode. This ain't shit. These ain't shit. These tough motherfuckers do this every day. You know what I mean? They face this anxiety every fucking day. You know, this is what you know, and it made me think, you know, fucking, you know, you know, this is bullshit. It totally changed the way I felt about the episode coming up, to be honest with you. And that anxiety I felt instantly lifted. I had more respect than I ever did, you know. So, you know, I have nothing but respect for the people who do that. You know what I mean? It's a tough world for that type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? And it's becoming more and more open. But, you know, shout out to those people that aren't afraid to live their life the way they want to live. You know, hell yeah.
Well, I
Like
give you
Ziggy
guys
Marley says, you got to be true to yourself.
you know, I give you guys a lot of credit from getting on here and being live on podcasts and things like that. You know, being taped is different. You know, you can kind of edit some of that. This is live, this is raw. And, you know, when Eagle had me on, that was the first live podcast I've ever been on. And I was actually scared to shit because, you know, I've spoken in front of 5, 10, 20,000 people before and had no problem. But I get on here and I'm talking to a screen and live people in front of me, and you know, I'm completely out of my element here. And it's like, I didn't even smoke for the first 3 hours because I didn't want to fuck anything up. And I did is because I went back and I watched it and I went, wow, that was supposed to be a timeline, but we kind of moved back and forth. But I give you guys a lot of credit for going out and doing this. You know, it's getting a little bit easier for me, but you know, I'm still nervous as shit.
You know what I really appreciate is about this, about Eagle's program, is that we, especially the wormhole, is when we start talking about cannabis, you see all these different levels of growmanship and you know, like Smiley is very scientifically oriented. He has a great scientific mind for cannabis. I don't, that's not my approach to cannabis. And so like your show covers so many levels of growing, from the very beginner to the very scientific. And a lot of shows don't do that. They focus on one or the other. So it's, just kind of setting this up as you did, you hit a really good platform. You set something up really well.
I mentioned this to Smiley the other night, and exactly what you said, Bob. You hit Eagles hitting everybody from the beginner to the advanced people. And, like someone like me coming on, people can relate to me because there's a lot of people out here that don't talk to people. They haven't talked to people in 20, 30 years. And they can relate to the older school type of growing style. But, they also see me trying to learn from people like you and Smiley and Eagle and all of Eagle's guests, because, we're now locked up, and social media is our only release of getting out and trying to have, well, we're pot growers, so we get to talk to somebody for a couple hours every couple days during the week. We're doing all right, but it gives us some place to go, and we can take everybody from the beginner and the person that hasn't heard anything about growing for the past 10, 15, 20 years to, people like Smiley, who's up on date on things, and the other guests that Eagle brings in that are up to date on things way more than me, and we just sit here and we learn. And it's a great opportunity, and I greatly appreciate the opportunities that you've provided us, Eagle, and all your work too, Smiley.
I agree to that 100%.
Yeah, Smiley, I like your stickers.
Stickers.
Smiley most certainly helps round things out. That's for sure. Yeah, he does, fill in a lot of voids that need to be filled, especially in the more knowledgeable, detailed end of things. And a great friend, and he is. Anytime that I'm fucking kind of in a bad way or whatever, Mr. Smiley always has some encouraging words to say to push me a little bit forward. So
I see someone making him
as well.
I see someone making him giggle in YouTube. I'm gonna have to turn it on my computer here. I'm gonna have to see the chat to see what people are saying.
They're ripping on it. Yeah. No, it's fun, man. I like it, it's a good time. And I don't know that much. I'm just figuring shit out myself. That's all. I just talk about what I do and what I don't know, what I read.
But you're able to do it from a scientific way, as well as the other way, a non-scientific way. But I think your preference is to approach it more scientifically sound than perhaps system sound. You like to get into the intricacies instead of the general system.
Right. Yeah.
That's
kind of the technician in me, though. Like literally, right. Cheddar Bob, I used to do the fucking calculations for combustion equations and shit too. And I would look at gas analyzers, and I could, you can understand what's coming out of a gas analyzer if it's too much carbon monoxide versus too many hydrocarbons. You can get an idea of what area that engine's running, so it's similar.
Yeah, and your thought process and your description process translates to cannabis. I've noticed that, and it's cool. I'm not that way. I don't have a scientific way of communicating. You know, I can't tell you the intricacies of the interactions between the acids and stuff like that, you know, whereas though you can. And I admire that, you know, it's cool.
I can remember what I read or heard, or I'm getting bad at that though. Some guys are really good at remembering the source. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I read that in this book and it's by this author and whatever. And I'm bad at that. Like, I remember I read that in a book, but I don't remember which one. But I'm a grandpa.
By the way, Eagle, thanks for asking my questions the other day about the Bruce Banner and things like that. That kind of, you know, solidified exactly, yeah, that person is in that small little group. Because I ended up picking up that clone in Flint. One of the provisions, well, it was supposed to be like a GC3 type deal, but it was a donation for a little girl in a hospital. And the stipulations came out, you know, give it out to friends, but it's going to cost you a donation to get it. And the donation wasn't cheap, but, you know, just like buying some of these seeds to help out, like Phoebe the other night, you know, people that are in the cannabis community that don't have insurance, and our community turns out, and it may be a little bit, but every little bit helps.
Yep. Yeah, I was saying that, you know, you got some great stuff from that Phoebe auction.
Yes, I did. And actually, I ended up buying more skunk later on.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, as I really appreciate that sort of thing. And coming from, you know, someone that's, my neck surgery cost $450,000, and that was without insurance. And so, you know, I'm alive because of that same sort of scenario, that money was raised for me to be able to pay my hospital bills. So, I mean, just the amount of auctions for medical expenses and hardships, just people having hard times that the cannabis community does is like, I don't want to say unparalleled because it's, you know, but it's quite amazing. Yeah. I've seen a lot of friggin' money be raised just in the last 2 months in totally separate areas. Like hundreds of thousands of dollars for people.
Not only that, Cheddar Bob, the amount of products and, you know, RSO and flour and things that are given away too. It's unreal. And people don't even talk about it. Like, a lot of it happens and they don't talk about it. It's just happening. You know what I mean? That's just what they do. So it's a lot of cool like that.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as we can say about the industrial side of cannabis or the commercial aspect of cannabis, like the actual cannabis community might be unparalleled, you know?
Yeah, man.
It is definitely unparalleled. The only people that may be above us are the people where giving money is, the way they think of it, is a tax write-off. You know,
philanthropy?
we look at it and we reach in our pocket and say, well, we've got $6, you know, I need 4, here's $2, you know. But a lot of the people that give, you know, they give just because they can, and it's a tax write-off is the way they look at it. We look at it as helping our brothers and sisters and, taking a little bit of the last little bit of money we have in our pocket and giving that. And that says 10 times more than anything else. It's because
Empathy, it's
we
a
have
hell of
very
a
little
drug.
to give.
I agree. So did you guys catch that lighting? I know Cheddar Bob, you were talking about that earlier, that lighting episode that was earlier today.
Yeah,
I
man.
just want to talk about it because it's so fucking interesting, because it's something that I've been trying to kind of harping on or thinking in my brain a little bit after buying the B-Spec light, is the way that it fucking, there's the one spike of blue and it throws everything out of balance in the light. And then that guy was talking about that, how you need to hit all the, it's like a symphony, you know what I mean? You need to hit all the spectrum notes kind of in a certain way.
Yep.
To actually utilize that photosynthesis synthetic power or whatever, you know.
And he doubled down on your DLI. He talked about how important that actually is, and how different cultivars like react to their DLI and at different atmospheric pressures and stuff. Like, Wolf is a savant.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing info, man. That was cool.
It's stuff you think about maybe sometimes, but he spent his life thinking about it and doing it. We may think about it, but he does this stuff. And man, we can learn an awful lot from him.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. When I don't know how he was controlling the spectrum like he was talking about, but it was pretty cool. Like being able to tune elevation and part of the planet that the cultivar was grown from and match that lighting. It's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the questions that I have now is, you have these LEDs and you have them dimmable and things like this. Are we going to now start seeing lights where, the last 3 weeks we can increase the red and turn down the blue as we go into flowering, and keep that blue kind of high for the first 2 to 3 weeks of flowering, because basically you're still in bed, and then turn it down once we hit like day 21 and give it more red? Is that what's going to happen with these lights out there today?
They're probably, if like, just off the top of my head, I would imagine that the diodes would carry more than one, what is it? Like 3,000 and 3,500, K. And then the next one would carry like 4,055 K. And then you would have your high nano, like a couple, but they would be in the same diode so that they can kind of vary, I guess, with like, instead of having a single diode here and a single diode here, and each one going like that to take up less space, they would be in the same diode, is I think the way the technology is going to go. Not so much a cob, but
science is already there. The science LED, and not only that, I believe, anybody can correct me wrong, but they're working towards like light recipes that are like strain specific, aren't they? Are they not?
I don't know about strain specific. I know they have light recipes like that where it'll start with like a sunrise effect and then kind of go through a midday, like he was talking, where you get more of like an intense light in the middle of the day, tapering off to hitting the more red again towards the like night time or whatever.
Yeah, the sunset, you're 15 minutes of far red, and then you're or 10 minutes, and then you're 15 minutes at dawn. To like you're trying to simulate the sun as much as possible. The sun doesn't come up at high noon, every day. It starts off at a low, and so everything's kind of waving throughout the day and tapering off, and that's what he's getting at, like the DLI.
Well, the DLI accounts for the intensity of the light by the time frame or whatever. But yeah, the spectrum that he was talking about is actually in how like the two different photo systems would work. So, but we got, but like, yeah, like photo system one is triggered by certain spectrums, and photo system two is triggered by other ones. That's why you always have like the blurple lights. You have the blue and the red of the blurples.
The
They were, they
blurple.
were they were just focused on trying to trigger those specific areas. But what we figured out with like the full spectrum lighting is that the plants do utilize a lot more than just those two, areas. And now they're trying to supplement where they can still spike those two areas. But I don't think we really have evolved like in the science LED realm. They're still toggling, to my understanding, they're still toggling between those red and blue kind of LED light like that. Where like what this dude's talking about is having that a full, like if you look at the spectrum
Yellow,
graph,
orange.
yeah, like if you look at the spectrum graphs, there'll be a big peak in the blue, and then it'll go across, and there'll be like another spike in the red or whatever. He's talking about having that more even, like with the sun kind of thing. And if there are changes, it's just subtly kind of like those types of changes to that spectrum. You're never really throwing a solid hardcore red spike at it, or what I mean. That was my understanding of kind of what he was getting at, is every bit of that spectrum is like a note in a song of a symphony. You got different instruments of that orchestra or whatever. Those are like the different chords of that symphony and how it's going to sound to the plant. So if you throw just a real strong note of one note, it could be a really offensive thing to the plant, you know what I'm saying, or a really offensive noise to us, similar. Where if you have everything in harmony and in tune, it's a more pleasant thing, it's kind of, because he kept relating it back to music like that too. It was cool. Sorry for the
Hey, Red Pill.
What's up? We were all, I guess, watching the same thing today. So,
Yeah.
But I can't think of the name of it. And to answer Eagle's question, there was to answer everything. Well, anyways, there was a light company I can't remember the name of, but it looked like it was very weird because whatever kind of heat sink and kind of like computer system it had in it, it looked very much like a normal old reflector. Like it was like trapezoidal in shape. But the bottom of it was just 4 different like quantum board looking dealies. And this light had a whole smart system and app to go with it. And it had a pulse wave modulator. So you could go through the entire light spectrum of every color in there. And you could program it to everything that we're saying, the daytime to nighttime, or, morning to evening light spectrums. And then you can even fix it to remember that, like it was a smart thing. So it would do that automatically. And you could have it programmed for specific strains. Like you can test grow under the light, do whatever you want to do to dial it in, figure out if you got what you did right. And then you could program it that. And then you can it had like 12 or 15 different settings. So you could save it as like Super Lemon Haze. And then you put a whole bunch of Super Lemon Haze clones under there. And then you just go on to the app and hit Super Lemon Haze Spectrum. And it's always going to grow that exactly the way you tuned it. It was an old light.
Is that one of those? I have a buddy who has a light that sounds like that, but his was like liquid cooled.
I don't know if this one was. I don't know the cooling system on this, but I do know it's been a long time since I've seen one. I only seen someone test growing it, and it was like as expensive as like the top dollar LED lights are now. And this was like 6 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if anybody's got any of those lights that you can dim up and down like that, I'd really like to give them a test run for you.
But you could do the whole thing. You could go through. It had like staggered diodes, so you could go through the whole spectrum and mix like all blue light with all red light and make a purple light. and it had white light too. So you could have, it was like 550 white light, and then you could mix whatever other spectrums you wanted to do with it, or leave out the white light. You can have like solid. But it had, like how some lights have the cops in there for like the photo taking. There's like the dial in it or the switch in it. You can dial it and dim it on and off, or intensity or low intensity. And then it turns off the blurples, and there's just like 55K white light for better picture taking. But it had that, but so it had all of the white light, and then whatever you wanted to tune the other rest of the spectrum to. And you can even have it, you could even set, there's a setting for it to where you can just have it oscillating. So like all 12 hours of flower, it's just going slow, and you could time it. So it takes like all 12 hours to go from the furthest red part of the spectrum to the furthest blue part of the spectrum. Or you could have it oscillating like the whole spectrum once per minute. It's like a cool disco strobe light. This? I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go and try and research it.
But it's for photography?
No, it had just that setting on it. That's what the white lights, back in the day, they used to, I don't know if, I don't want to call it a marketing thing, but that's just what, before, like I said, like it was understood that white light is supplemental to the blurple. People would just put little cob lights in there, and then you could turn off the blurple panels, or the blurple boards, so you could take pictures without it, making your plant look all purple and blue, and hard to really take pictures under one of those lights. But the person that I saw growing with it was LED One Shot. I think he was out of Massachusetts.
Cool.
Okay.
No, I just found it. It was kind of a discussion too that it was on not Operation Grow, but the Growing 420 guys from UK there. GMO show. I'm drawing a blank on it. Grow Room 420 forum, right? Why the fuck can't I get that right? Anyway,
I think you got it all. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking on there about that too. So Pete was showing the infrared pictures of the plant, and then like adding another supplemental blue spectrum. The infrared picture would change on how the plant was like absorbing and reflecting back that light. So that's what the guy was talking about today. Like the plant can absorb photons that it doesn't necessarily turn into photosynthetic energy. So those ones kind of get released as heat and that way too. So yeah, it was just kind of interesting that you can actually, like, he was relating it to, you can actually get more photosynthesis from a properly tuned light than you can from an improperly tuned light at the same amount of photons, because the plant can actually utilize
that's the thing I'm trying to overcome for a while. And I was thinking right when I popped in here that it'd be very funny if it finally took Wolf to say that, if this on that little show, if that's what people are listening to, if it goes to the lighting industry and like, okay, now we're going to do it, because people have been talking about it for long enough. And I've, like I said, asked light manufacturers to make me a designer light, one-off light. I don't really care how much it pays, especially if it's how much it costs, especially if it's prototype or experiment. But they wouldn't even make it for me. Like they just won't even manufacture it, because I had the spectrum argument with me, and they're like, no, we're not going to put blue LEDs in it, because I'd be like, oh, I don't need like a 410 or like 430 nanometer. I want something more like 490 or 500, something in the cyan or almost into the green. And they're like, well, we don't use those diodes because they're extremely low efficiency. So I just couldn't get over the efficiency conversation with LED manufacturers, because they said that the whole reason, or we know that the whole reason that people went in the LED pathway is because more efficient lights, less infrared, less energy loss to just being infrared. So as soon as you start talking about less efficient diodes, they don't want to make you a light.
Well, that was the other point he was making too, is like the the focus on efficiency, like joules or ppfd per watt, kind of, or whatever, intensity per watt, like just that focus on that efficiency, trying to get the most out of that. You kind of find certain spectrum LEDs that are, like you said, are more efficient. But he's talking about what's the best spectrum wise to throw down, like you were just mentioning. But you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they're looking at efficiency because they want that highest, micromoles per joule or whatever rating. You know what I mean? Where they can fudge those by adding different color LEDs too. Oh, it's got more red LEDs, so it's going to be this much more efficient.
That's where I'm in a hard spot where it's to the point where you either have to manufacture your own light if you want to build one the way you want it to, or have someone that does that help you out with it. But then it's only going to be as good as they can do in their little garage or workspace. I don't have the knowledge to do that.
No, you can absolutely get a light that does everything we're talking about. It's just you got to crack out your wallet for them.
Yeah.
Well, and then it also goes back to what we've been talking about and what's been happening with CBDs and THCs is you're going to get strain specific. And like you guys had just brought up a little bit earlier, the strains that are grown in the equatorial range are going to take a different light spectrum than those that are grown in Michigan, in Afghanistan, in Canada. So, that all has to be worked out. So who's to really, has anybody done the studies and tests like they've done with THC and CBD on, exactly what light the plant does use? And are we even looking at that part of THC that maybe the white light does affect? This is all stuff that, this is the wormhole, and, you opened up the wormhole when you started to test all these different THCs and different CBDs. That's one great thing about growing the plant, is the plant will never be replicated in a laboratory. They'll just never be able to get all the sums and pieces together.
Yeah. My kind of basic mental picture on what they were talking was like the different pigments that can trigger with different lights too, so like the full spectrum definitely does have effect on it. That's why we see a better response than the blurple light. Like people went to that blurple light when we figured out there were two different photo systems, or that you had to hit with the two spectrums. And that's where that was all NASA shit, right? Like they came out with that for the lettuce or whatever. We started realizing that we had to have a fuller one. That's why the white lights came out,
Where I took the advice from is my veg light that I used, my prior or current veg light, was a T5, normal Sunblaze T5, but I had the Power Veg bulbs in there. And they took that idea, they made a horticulture version of what coral growers had. The coral growers had different colored fluorescent T5 lights. And that changes the whole entire, whatever pigments of coral that grows. You can get blue coral or red coral or pink coral or, yellow or gold. They play with that. That's how coral gardeners or growers mess with their cultivars or whatever. Get different rainbow effects in coral.
These different spectrum.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So my theory was, what I want to see now in an LED light is I want to see everything incorporated. It needs to have UV diodes, low efficiency. It needs to have IR diodes. People are like, what IR? That's what we're going away from. It needs to have at least one kind of white spectrum, anywhere from 55K to 27K. least one of those, if not a couple on either end of that spectrum. And then it's got to have 730, 630. What I would prefer, like I said, a 490 blue. I know they make it, like I said, they just slow efficiency, so you don't see it in horticulture lights. And a 400. So on the blue, you got 2, the red, you got 2, white, you possibly have 2, and then you got IR and infrared. Or sorry, infrared and ultraviolet. And then maybe even throw green in there. But I don't know if you, like I said, 55's got, we don't see it because it's white, but 55 and 65 got a lot of green in there. So I have a dab loaded up. Oh, and I was gonna say, I'd like to see that in a
What is that little puddle there?
puddle, this one?
Yeah.
Little piece of shredded.
Looks like a stamp mark.
Ooh.
You know, like one of those old royal.
Yeah. Would you want me to send you a letter with this on the,
That would be funny. That'd be like a letter with it stamped on the outside. People would be like, what the fuck?
Peel it off and smoke it.
Looks like he's got it portioned out already. Like there's 1,
Yeah, right?
2, 3, 4. He's got his dabs all
there's a
sectioned
couple
out.
of pieces there.
It's like one of those pill cases or whatever that they
Slightly organized. But I was
That's
gonna say,
a great idea, Cheddar Bob. Give out certificates and have the little like foil stamp, have that be it, like, you know, concentrate.
Yeah, right.
You can send them out that way in the mail. That would be perfect.
Be like,
This is-
you know, the cocaine sent to jails inside the cards, you know, like they dissolve the cards and it's like the card's actually made out of cocaine.
What,
No
you've
one?
never got, you've
No
never
one's
gotten
no?
a birth, you've never
Guess
gotten
that's-
a birthday card that comes on a big sheet of white paper and it's actually written happy birthday in pen to you. And
No,
you
mine are
wonder
all-
why it's perforated.
Smiley's like, what? What are you talking about?
I am unlocked.
I have not been
Yeah.
to jail.
I haven't.
Well, good for you. Don't go to jail, Smiley. It's no place for handsome boys.
I went to a holding cell for 4 hours one time. And that was enough. I was like, fuck this behind the bars shit. I don't like it at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it's certainly humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. The worst was doing 23-and-1s where they keep you locked up for 23 hours a day and they let you out singularly for 1 hour a day. Illinois did that to me.
Fuck.
And yeah, I never want to be back there. Even here in Thailand, I sit outside all the time. People say, why don't you sit in the air conditioning? No. Why? I was in a small room and couldn't leave it. If I have a chance to be outside, I'm going to be outside.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That'd be wild.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never been locked up for growing. It's always been a possession charge.
No shit.
Yeah. Always possession charge or paraphernalia charge.
I never got locked up for cannabis. I always got locked up because I was fucking stupid and young and drunk.
Oh, I was just assuming murder was why you were locked up.
Oh, superheroes don't murder, bro.
Oh,
I would have been like, oh, you know what I need? Boom, right there. I need a Hancock one.
yeah,
The drunk superhero.
right?
Boom, Hancock. That's the next one. I'm gonna have to have it made.
Well, Iron Man was a drunk. He had an alcohol problem.
Yeah, I
It
guess
came out
so.
in the 1970s comic book.
Yeah,
By the way, Cheddar Bob, I owned a comic book store too.
that's awesome. I know. I saw that. I saw that in the comments the other day. It's like, what the hell is this guy not done? That is not awesome.
Parents were antique dealers and factory workers.
Yeah.
Dad collected beer cans in 1973. So we were on the road. So, you know, living in Cleveland and opening up the doors Saturday morning and being in Gettysburg, you know, was not uncommon. Coming up to Springfield, Massachusetts was not uncommon.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was a weekend trip for my family. I didn't have a normal childhood. I didn't have friends that I hung around with because my parents took me everywhere on the weekend. But it afforded me to see a lot more, and I think I became a lot better of a person.
Perhaps more well-rounded, traveled.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And also, you know, a lot more open, even in the early times, to gay people, because I was around them all the time. They're just people to me, and I treat people like that. And here in Thailand, you have a bunch of lady boys, and you know, I treat them like everybody else. I treat them like a girl. They're dressing up and wanting to be a girl. I talk to them like a girl. You know, I'm not hitting on them, but I don't call them dude. I give them respect, and you know, that's the way I was brought up. You look at everybody and you judge them based upon how they treat other people, not anything else.
I don't know. I've treated some people pretty bad, so.
I have to.
Well,
hope I'm not judged on that one.
I hope not. I think everybody's treated somebody bad, man.
Yeah. About learning from it, you know.
How to do it more efficiently.
Not get caught.
That kind of shit. Funny.
So I had like a whole bunch of stuff from the shows today that I thought was really cool that I wanted to bring up tonight. And then the damn camera came on and I was like, well, what was all that cool stuff that I wanted to talk about? And for the life of me, I cannot remember it all. I know some of it was the lighting show, but I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm at that age where I think I have to start writing things down.
I was just about to say it. I have to write things down.
Yeah. But the only problem is I can't read my own handwriting.
Oh. I used to pride myself on the memory, man, but it's just failing. Or
yeah,
I remember saturation, too much capacity.
Yeah, I remember a lot of stuff that happened in the past, but I don't remember a lot of new stuff. There's not a lot of compartment reorganization going on.
Sounds like
I reset the button every once in a while, like on 419 for Abby's bike ride. That was a reset for 422. But yeah, sometimes you just need to go through your mind and get rid of some of that information and open up room for other information that you want to learn today. You know, because we do retain a lot of stuff that, you know, we can just, I've learned to be able to just kind of forget that stuff, and then I'm able to accept new information, because I do try to learn as much as I can every fucking day.
Oh, I remember one thing.
Yeah,
I do. So I was watching, and it wasn't even like a program, a cannabis program, but Do you guys know what Morgellons disease is, or Morgellons? Have you heard of that?
Doesn't sound
So
fun though.
it's like where people produce or grow these like synthetic fibers underneath their skin. Like they can be metallic or cotton. Like it's this, and they actually like grow under and out of the skin. People pull like metal little shards.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they say it's a
That
big
grew?
conspiracy. They say that people are just crazy and it doesn't exist.
Yes, Red Pill. And that's what I watched today. It was called Under the Skin, the Battle for Morgellons. And it was all about how the medical community for years has been telling people that, no, it's all psychosemantic. You're crazy. Go see a psychiatrist. And then there's a whole nother like part of the medical community that's like, no, this is actually a real thing. And they're equating it to how it associates to Lyme disease.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And- and
the
how
problem
like,
is
go ahead, Red Bill.
90% of people with Morgellons or claim they have Morgellons test positive for Lyme's disease, the Lyme disease.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you like how crazy Lyme's disease is, like, and how connected it is to all these older diseases.
This basically turns you into a silkworm, is it, if I'm understanding it correct?
Maybe, yeah.
It's weird, man. I've never heard of that.
Like you're gonna wrap yourself in a cocoon and metamorph.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you start producing a fucking cotton under your skin or something. Like, what? How
Yeah, I
does
mean,
that happen?
yeah.
It's even more weird. It looks like wires and like circuitry. It looks like positive and negative
So-
ground wires.
And that's another thing. I was thinking like today, I was freaking myself out, man. I was like, all right, well, what if this is like some, okay, they associate it with Lyme disease. Lyme disease was basically a man manipulated disease by Plum Island biological warfare. So what if it's like this strange mutated thing that's like turning us into the Borg, you know, getting us ready to like be part machine or part synthetics. It's like preparing our body for that next stage of fucking evolution. Ugh.
I think there's I have conflict with that, and I'm going into red pill because my name's red pill territory. But
Let's do it.
If it's gonna be a virtual future, like if they're gonna slowly like make life so shitty and make augmented and virtual reality so much better than life that people are just gonna plug into like a literal matrix.
Black Mirror.
It's gonna be more whatever digital, like that kind of thing. Or if we actually merge with technology, figure out like the key to more, what they call is cure mortality, transhumanist. That's what they think the singularity is. I think the singularity is when we cure mortality and become, immortal. And then that's a debate. Is it immortal as in, do we get to keep our own bodies and like regenerate tissue and that kind of shit? Or do you have to do it by like simulating yourself and making a digital copy?
Which relies on electricity, which would have to be harnessed by something continuously and be set up to be maintained, which is getting into robot territory, which is getting into Skynet, which is getting into the Matrix.
Well, I was going to say,
and we're all fucked.
Yeah, the Black Mirror episode does it good.
That show was pretty freaky. Like it was just far enough into the future to not seem possible, but at the same time, just close enough to be able to link small aspects of it to what we do now. It was like,
like I said, I look at it as more like an educational thing. And it's like a PSA, or it's like remember the classes that we had where they tried to teach us about drugs and sex and what they would do to our bodies and our young, intact, non-corrupted minds.
No,
Well,
I'm from an island. We didn't have those classes.
Well, that's what they're trying to do to us now with well, not like it's a bad thing, but Black Mirror is that same way, where it's like each episode is one aspect of a technology that is promoted to us as something good. Like here, we figured out synthetic meat, or we figured out
we haven't figured it out.
A cure for, well, I'm just like naming examples, like a cure for Alzheimer's. You can put a chip in your head and it can store memories for you, because your mind's susceptible to not remembering things. And then people say like people that are eyewitnesses aren't even like good enough for a testimony, because they're subjected to seeing things that they didn't even see, or they could have false memories planted in them.
Yep. Funny thing you mentioned about Alzheimer's. Getting back to Morgellons, they just discovered 4 different types of Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's is, I'm a hot take here, but Alzheimer's is Lyme disease. It's a part of Lyme disease. And like Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, those are all parts and causes of secondary infections from Lyme disease. Morgellons, it's crazy. It really is red pill. Like Lyme disease.
Especially when Lyme disease is something, then they spread that? Isn't that something?
Yes.
That's something they spread. It leaked out of like a fucking.
But it wasn't. It part of it was spread on purpose. They released like thousands of bunnies with these fucking ticks on them. They dropped them out of fucking planes, and then they also on Plum Island, which is just off the coast of Jersey and New York, they had. That's where That's where the U.S.'s biological warfare place is, and that's where ticks escaped on birds and on deer.
It's literally,
and it's right across the shore from Lyme, Connecticut, which is where Lyme disease, the name for Lyme disease, comes from.
It's literally no different than COVID. If you believe the narrative that it escaped a biological testing facility.
No, Lyme disease has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They found it.
Well, that's yes.
The spirochetes in thousands-year-old bodies, but the thing is, it's been manipulated. The Nazis were working with Lyme disease and ticks and stuff like that way back.
That they tell, and they say there's 2 narratives that where COVID comes from. Either it comes from bats, super, not on no one's purpose. It just jumped one species to the other. And then the other narrative where they got it from bats and were, doing something with it in a biological lab. But the same thing, like did it escape from that, either one of those or both of those things that someone, let escape or, dropped out on purpose, or is it a complete accident? Because you would think with all those safety precautions that they take for those like biological things, you'd think, man, well, they probably got all their fucking corners covered, right? But I would think like, not in
the 40s and 50s, man. No way.
That's what I mean, though. Like you would think it's just, it's asking too much for you to be that sanitary or that safe to have like different clean zones and go in between, but still have people coming in and out of, you know what I mean? It's just whatever. 1 out of 100 year, one time it's going to happen. So.
Hey, Eagle, nice to have you back. I see your viewpoint has changed.
Did a little wardrobe change for you there. Oh, Cheddar Bob.
Is that a tool? Is that a tool onesie?
Yeah. Do they make those? I bet you'd have to pay a pretty penny for a tool onesie. No, not a onesie. No onesies.
Is that
You're trying
that?
to push?
Sorry, go
Trying
ahead.
to push the onesies. Do you have any onesies there, Cheddar Bob? I could actually see the superhero outfits coming in onesies.
This is my onesie. I don't have any bottoms.
I do have a pair of fucking long johns that are the onesies, and they're incredibly awkward. Very warm, but incredibly awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I have long underwear that I wear out on the boat, but they're not the same. They don't have quite the movement, you know, that I would imagine a superhero bottom would come with. They're not flame retardant, you know. So
I'm sure they could spray something out and fix that right up. Superhero shit. They're working on red pill laser eye. They can fireproof your fucking shit.
oh hey, when are we gonna get Jim Belushi in here?
Hopefully soon.
Have you sent him out an invite? Belushi Farms.
Is that how I reach him?
Yep.
Belushi Farms.
Or reach his agent.
Yeah. That would be fun. Get him and Mike Tyson on and Willie.
Willie
All
would be
three.
legendary. Fuck.
All three.
We can find out if he really smoked on the White House. Snoop Dogg. Right? Snoop Dogg, Burner. You get all them guys too.
I can ask Martha Stewart. She walks by my house. She walks by my house in the summer and comments on how nice my wildflowers look.
Oh yeah,
Martha Stewart would probably be down. She's cannabis. She's cannabis friendly.
Right.
You know what's funny is I have actually sent out an invite to Snoop Dogg, to be honest with you. And I actually took it as far as one day I was in his chat, like he had a live going, and I'm just in this chat going, "When are you coming out fucking talking shit with Eagle? You coming out fucking talking shit?"
Just
He's
raining
probably
down.
thinking, "Who the fuck is this cat, man? Fucking talking shit with Eagle." Damn. Probably got banned, didn't even know it.
right. Eagle's sitting there typing, nobody's seeing it.
That's like me on the Grow Boss.
Yeah. You
Oh,
give it
man.
to him? You gonna educate that dude?
I'm banned from that show. I go on there and I type stuff, and I'll go out and I'll come back and it's gone. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I know no one's seeing what I write. Yeah, I don't like to
what
talk.
do you got to mess with the Grow Boss about? You don't like light movers? What's wrong?
Oh, he's just a douche.
Huh? Why?
Oh, he just rips on everyone, no matter what. He's a douche. He's a douche.
Yeah, he has a little douchey about him, a little bit.
I like a lot of it.
Hey, I got a light mover because of him though. So.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I had to check
Did
that
you have
shit out.
Did you have to buy it or did you win it?
No, I bought it. Yep, I had two hoods that I basically had a dummy, one of the dummy carriers. So I had one motor that ran two hoods or whatever, basically. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I tried one of those.
It wasn't all that.
Nope, they're not.
At least not for my setup. It was like, eh. So the motor went out after I ran it. Yeah, like 2-3 cycles, whatever. 4, it might have been 4. But then, yeah, the motor ended up going out, and I think it was because it had so much. It was moving more weight than it should have been with the two vented hoods.
Those little wheels start rubbing off and getting caught.
Yeah.
But
yeah, anyway, the motor gave out, and it wasn't worth the fucking money to try to replace it. I was like, fuck this thing.
Yeah.
I didn't see that big a benefit.
I think it's more for covering like a large space, like a much larger space than like a 5x5 or a 6x6, you know, and just moving one little light. I think it's something pretty strong that you're moving like 15, 20 feet or something.
It's like if you have a room where you could do like a 16 light setup, you could do it with 4 and just have those lights going down what would be those 4 rows anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of moving the hotspot around on the canopy. I do like that idea. But I just don't know how valuable that's going to be in the end, and is it worth the investment of trying to do a mover?
What about those spinning lights? Remember those?
Spinning lights?
It's literally like a ceiling fan, but instead of blades, it has lights.
Oh, wow. Why, what was the purpose of it spinning?
Pull them down.
Throw around the hot spot of the light.
Huh. Like spinning how fast? I mean, like
Pretty fast enough to make a little draft, because then it also was like, blows around, you know, it moves air around in the above the canopy. You know?
I remember those.
that
Those are
sounds
like
that sounds like a genius idea.
that was like early 2000s. That's the
Really?
same
And it
time they were
never
starting
took
to
off,
push
huh?
out those coliseums. You remember those, Red Pill?
Yeah.
Coliseums, like where they build the plants up and around the light. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you basically have a hanging light and then build all the colas or multiple plants around it.
Yeah, that's a genius idea too.
And then they had ones that would, you know, go in a circle all around the light in the middle. My buddies used to have a couple, but the plants would end up getting too big and then hitting the light and frying on it.
Some of that stuff just seems like why though at a certain point, like, you know, just I don't know.
And even more so, like growing in living soil, like you get a lot more like why sort of questions about cannabis growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean?
Oh, I don't know, just the different sort of novelty things, you know, like pH pens and all that, you know, different soil meters and
The gadgety gadgets,
all the trinkets that you need to go with
dangled things.
Yeah, shiny things, you know, like we're crows.
Right.
I seen one today. It's for your dabs, and the one end you put it in your banger, and it tells you, you know, it goes from red light to green light when you hit a certain temperature, and then you flip it over and you've got the dab on the other end. I thought that was cool as shit. I gotta get me one of those.
I saw one where the guy was like, oh, he took a dab out and he puts it, his friend looks at it and it's a close up and it shows like all kinds of hair and stuff on it. The guy's like, oh no, never mind. He passes it away. He grabs this thing out of his pocket and he's like, I'll use mine. And he scoops it out and he presses this little button and holds it over the dab rig and it melts off. So it's just like a heated scoop. And he's like, so much better. I was like, oh my God. Why is this even a thing? Just wipe off the fucking scoop already.
They've got them for cars. It's like a key. You put it in your lock, and you press the button, and the key light heats up inside your lock of your door.
Huh.
What's that? That must be on like a Aston Martin or something, because my Ford doesn't do that shit.
No.
I got them in Cleveland, man.
No shit.
Yeah, check that out. Maybe that's something that we could use. And they're not that expensive.
Well,
of course, I haven't seen them since like probably 2005.
Ned Denver just said it. The butter cutter. Yes.
They have.
I think that's
so herb irons and embers, which are just a glorified soldering iron with the ceramic tip. The herb iron, herb iron is a corded version. I don't know how much they are now, but they were always like 50 to 70 bucks. The Ember is like that. Oh, it's marketed. It's $420 because it has to be. No, but you can buy. You can find cordless ceramic soldering irons for like 200 or so bucks. Doesn't have to be marked up to 420 to be sold to us, but that's what it is. It's like medical grade ceramic on a heated tip, and you just heat it up, and you don't even
It's like the honey badger.
Yeah, you don't even make contact to it. You just use that heat and convect heat from that tip to boil. It's really good for full melt and stuff like that, because what it really allows you to do, like say you got a bowl that you put, different concentrates on top of, you can go over it and just like wave it right back and forth while you're hitting it softly, and it just all bubbles and melts and it'll go right down into the flour in the packed bowl. Very nice. There's also a tubular version of it, like a straw, that's called the dipstick. It's like a electric nectar collector, basically.
I actually want a nectar collector.
You
I
want-
moved out of the States before they came around. Shit, I just want a banger.
That's what she said.
We order, don't we order all that stuff from Thailand and shit? This should be like all
China.
readily available.
Well, actually, all that paraphernalia is illegal. Even dildos and vibrators here you can't go buy.
Really?
Yeah, they actually stopped that shit coming in. My friend owns a bar, and there were these cock glasses, and they were like 7-inch, basically glass cocks that you had a little funnel you filled up, and the girls would see who could finish them the quickest. But they actually got sent back to Lazada. He bought them through Lazada, and they actually got sent back 2 times to Lazada, and they made it through the 3rd time. But yeah, that stuff's all illegal here.
I thought I just seen a thing where there was like, that was like a big industry over there, was like making sex toys or whatever.
I was just miking on for that. I heard you say you couldn't bring it in. I was thinking, I thought that's where it all fucking came from.
Yeah, it was
What the
just
fuck.
Yeah, that's funny though.
Uncle
No
China.
competitors. No competitors. It's a,
Uncle China, yeah.
Like everybody was saying about, Alibaba, everybody should go check out that site. Gavita lights were $105 on there. And then, just think about how much cheaper it is coming to Thailand instead of going to the United States too.
Mm-hmm.
They got some nice rolling beds. They got some really nice greenhouses for really cheap. I priced it out. It was 6,000 square meter greenhouse for 34,000 US dollars.
There you go.
Yep.
The Alibaba. Isn't that like the Amazon for China or some shit? Alibaba.
Yeah.
Kind of.
They even copied the business plan.
Lazada's more like that. Lazada's more like a drop shipment company. You order it through them, and then they have stores in different countries that will drop ship you the items.
Be that way with cannabis before long. Just go on like Amazon and be like, what kind do I want? What's up for bid today? You know what I mean? They'll have like an eBay shit on
I hope not.
it.
I was just
getting
about to
mailed, dude.
kick in with my own sarcasm and say, how are you going to regulate that, Smiley?
Yeah.
That would
through
be nice.
force
Right?
and intimidation, just like everything else is.
Yeah, or regulated at the ability to post on it or whatever. But yeah, I'm sure it won't be long, man. They're already delivering. It'll be happening. It'll be happening. Because if they deschedule
I
it,
think
then you can send it
Get
though,
it to
right?
like a internet and website, point fucking regulations. Pretty much at itself at that point. I'm sure they'll be tracking your ass by the click. There'll be regulation, no problem. They'll be getting hold of you. I think.
But see, that's where the medical comes back in. If they have a digital copy of your medical card and your medical papers, they should be able to send your medicine through like priority mail. And, we shouldn't have any fear of getting it through the mail.
Isn't it like you can't mail gun parts and shit like that too, right? Like I don't think you're allowed to mail firearms either. Like there's certain things you're not supposed to fucking send through the mail. I don't know. Is pharmaceuticals on that? Like, can you mail pharmaceutical drugs with a script? I mean, that would be a similar thing.
I
They
can
mail
mail them.
ecstasy
Well, legally,
illegally.
I get my medications mailed to me here in Thailand when I was getting them filled in the United States still.
Okay.
And they were narcotic pain medications.
Yeah, you
just have
you
to
can get
fill
that
out
stuff
paperwork.
anywhere. They'll send that stuff anywhere if you're buying it, or if the insurance company is getting it for you. They'll no problem. It's all set up.
But I could see it getting that way. Get it descheduled, and it'll just be like fucking Amazon a pot, right? Like everybody go on to find your cut, whatever you got.
Oh, yeah. Who was that? Phylos? Is that who was doing that genetic tracing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll all be that Phylos stuff. They'll be like, oh, hey, we have the genetic markers for tissue culture for 1987 skunk number 5, pheno 17, like, here you go. And there'll be like 7 of them that rule the cannabis industry.
Apparently, I'm wrong about the firearms. Apparently, you can mail them. I just had a buddy that said they weren't, because she moved from one state to another or whatever, and was moving and mailing some of her stuff, and that was a big deal. Was trying to get her firearm mailed over. Like you had to send it to a gun shop or some shit. Like you had to have one gun shop send it to another gun shop by her, and then she had to go pick it up or whatever. It was some weird deal like that. But I don't know.
You're moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, mail your seed collection. Do not travel with it. Mail it to wherever you're going. That was my biggest mistake.
Shit, safer that way, huh?
Yes.
So just for shits and giggles, why is that, Captain 420?
Why? Because Illinois has my seed collection.
You
they
should be
wouldn't
able to
give it
get
back to me. No, they wouldn't give it back to me.
Because they don't have it. You should sue them.
Well, there was 3.4 grams of MDMA that I was charged with 0.4 of a gram. There was 187 tabs that I was charged with 84 of them. So yeah, my diamond ring and a bunch of other stuff went missing.
Were you charged with the seeds?
Basically, there was 1,987 grams of stem, leaf, and debris that my pissed off partners put in the back of my moving truck that I got an intent to distribute charge. they dropped the acid, they dropped the other stuff, and but at least I didn't do the 8.5 to 10.5 years for the LSD. But yeah,
Just keep stacking up.
They got my seed collection, and I even commented to the judge, could I have them back? Because they made a comment, well, no. And they pulled out bags that had buds in them that were full of seeds. And they said, you've got seeds in cannabis still. This is all tied into one. And I asked them for my seeds back because there was a lot of CBD genetics in there. But 3 months later, they want medical. And I asked the judge, hey, you're going medical in 3 months. Today you're finally charging me. You're going medical in 3 months. Take my seed collection and start a real medical program. Because I was going to go to Michigan and finish the second part of my life and all the F1s that I made and F2s and finish those out. And I had over 110 different seed packs. I still had 98 NL5 Hazes, Afghani ones from Sensi Seed Bank.
So maybe it should be
seeds.
Maybe it should be more send your seeds if you're going to travel cross country with a whole bunch of other fucking drugs on you.
I didn't know that all that was in there. I had less than 2 ounces of cannabis on me.
Yeah.
But, an eighth of cannabis in Illinois is a felony, or it was.
That's crazy. It was always a misdemeanor here in Maine. There was, I mean, maybe way back, but as long as I've been alive, it's always just been a misdemeanor, which is Maine used to be able to grow up to 99 plants and it would be a misdemeanor. But now you can, I don't know, you could probably still just get away with a misdemeanor for that many if you had them. But yeah, Maine's always been pretty chill on the cannabis laws.
What does misdemeanor mean? That's a funny word, isn't it?
Misdemeanor, it's like a lower class charge instead of a felony.
Oh. No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a funny fucking word.
Oh, it's just a weird word?
Yeah, it's just a weird word.
Well, miss, root word miss, and then demeanor, wrong or bad or uncalled for demeanor, I would assume, breaking it down. Maybe.
But if you got charged with it, I would think you nailed it. You didn't miss it. You were just nailing it.
Well, it becomes yeah. I don't know.
I wish I had all my old seeds. I'm right there with you. Bye birdie with all them.
I had an old bubble gum from 2001 that I had gotten from a guy that I ended up losing. Probably the most favorite plant I've ever grown in 20 years was that bubble gum that I grew in the first 2 years of me growing. Never grown another thing like it. It was so just huge, giant colas on like one branch plants, no side branches, just spears. Wow. Or like those little.
Should have spent the $600 the other day. Maybe you would have had that bubble gum.
Yeah, I didn't want to get castrated.
I should have even got.
Fast Bud has a autoflower bubble gum that is exactly like you said. Every branch is just one big cola.
Yeah, this thing was no side branches, like literally just one fucking main stem. It was it was incredible, and it tasted so nice. It was dense. It was everything you thought a perfect plant was back in the early 2000s.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, for the dead song. Dead song. I'm trying to get on it.
Is it
Yeah,
dab
I'm
song
actually
time?
kind of doing a dab. I got my concentrate in my dab rig.
By the time
My
YouTube
180.
gets its commercial out of the way, I'm like, yeah, where the fuck is it? Holy shit.
We need a down east dab song.
I know. I seen my daughter's boyfriend today. I should have fucking harassed him about the fucking dab song. I got a fucking guitar here. I could have fucking put it in his hands and been like, all right, I've got you blocked in. Dab song.
Haul out the recording
Record.
equipment and shit. Do it.
Set him right in front of this right here. Ready?
You're not
Click.
leaving this house until
Go.
this song is fucking done.
Did you smoke a joint with him? Or a dab?
Oh, of course. Of
A
course.
he had to
That's what-
pay for that.
That was that was unfortunately, I love her to death, but that was unfortunately, I'm sure, had a lot to do with the visit today. She come to shake that down. Yeah. I love her. I love her.
Did she
It
leave
is
with
what
parting
it is.
gifts?
Of course. Of course. The best of parting gifts.
Daddy,
Didn't
I
you-
love you. I
Didn't you
love you
dab
so
him?
much. Thank you.
Didn't you dab him silly last time you came down to visit too? Wasn't he like passing out after you were leaving or something?
Yeah, actually, that is a true story. I took the email down with me in a fucking rig. Fucking just came from fucking Vehicle City. Had like fucking 5 different samples. We hit a few of them and then doubled up on the apple fritter. Woo! That apple fritter dabs were fucking woo. They hit me right in the third eye. I did 2 in a row and they kind of got me a big sweat. They put it
Sometimes I
down,
wish
put it down.
sometimes I wish I had a daughter so I could fuck with their boyfriends. But then I'm like, no.
It's really not as fun as you think it would be, though.
Yeah, we have 4 sons together, so I can't you can't fuck with girlfriends. Like, that's not fun.
You get
I
in
don't think
trouble.
what
You get in
really-
trouble for that shit, Cheddar Bob.
Yeah.
What really sucks, Cheddar Bob, is when you don't get invited to your granddaughter's birth because the mother and her mother know that, yeah, as soon as you meet the father, you're gonna kill the son of a bitch. So I didn't get to see my granddaughter be born because of him being at the hospital. I got refused that. But yeah, no,
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
that's okay. Life goes on. I love my daughter. My daughter was the first one that told me I was loud. And I looked at her and I said, loud? She goes, yeah, you stink. Oh, you mean I got dank weed? Yeah, you got loud weed. And daddy's weed's always the best, by the way, Eagle. Mainly because it's free.
Probably.
Right down. What'd I do with the dab song? I think I exited out of the tab for the dab song. But
Right after the commercial. Now you got
yeah, I did. I sat through the commercial and then for some reason exited out of that shit. Man, that's stupid. But I do, I do have some neat pictures of this was let me get back. Let me throw this window over here. This was actually where'd they go? All right, here. This was me and her. Actually, the first time I smoked cannabis with her, it was funny because she asked me to go down to the hash bash with her because it was her and the boyfriend at the time's 1 year anniversary, and that was their first date. He took her down to the hash bash, and then that year they're like, "You want to go down with us?" So I actually went down and fucking had fun. Fucking, that was the first time that she was all like, "Yeah, I've been smoking." He kind of got me smoking, which made me like want to punch him in the face. But either way, uh, let's see. Yeah. It's funny because I've spoken this too. Well, let me get back to the Zoom. Oh, I gotta stop this. Right there, maybe. Got too much stuff going. Never mind. Man, why won't it bring up that picture?
Smiley's all over in the lone.
That what she's smoking right there is actually that is a hash wrapped blunt. That wrap of that right there is actually some 90 micron bubble hash. And that ring right there she wears that you see on her finger, myself and all my girls have that very ring, the skull and crossbones. We all wear that ring. It was kind of funny. It's like the family seal, if you will.
That's cool. I dig it. I gotta find it.
Everybody in the family had one at one point. Everybody in the family had and wore.
Now I gotta find a cool ring.
Fucking cat.
Oh, cheers. I totally fucking fucked up the dab song. Got sidetracked. Now I'm taking a dab.
Red pill heard dab song and he like boom jumps in his chair. Ta-da.
One more dab never hurt, right?
Right? I was just gonna say, man, like you heard dab and boom, you appeared in the screen. It's funny. Gardens look nice over there, Cheddar Bob. What you got rocking, man?
Let's see. In this tent here, this is Tony's Bruce Banner #3 crossed with Space Cheese, which, if I remember correctly, is which is the blue cheese crossed with Angel. So yeah, that's his tester strain. So there's six little females in there. I'm not time constraints, heat wise, coming into the summer. I have to throw it into flip now, or else it'll just get way too hot for flower.
Huh.
So because we don't run AC here in Maine.
What do? You shut it down then?
No, I veg. Yep. So I'll take a few plants and I'll veg for like 2 weeks in July and the month of August. Then I'll usually flip somewhere in the second week of September. Yeah, but
I'll take
over. What's that?
I'll take your clone.
Over here, this is actually the mother of that tester strain. So it's the Bruce Banner #3. And it was cool listening to Dark Horse talk about the different variants of the Bruce Banner number 3, the 3.0, the 3.0 back cross. But this is the Bruce Banner number 3. So, which is cool. But Tony sent that so I can compare, the phenos of the testers, because I haven't grown the Bruce Banner 3 before, and I haven't grown a space cheese. So, when the different variants start showing up in these cultivars, these phenos, I can, instead of guessing that one looks like the Bruce Banner and the other one looks like the space cheese, I can definitively say that, okay, this one is definitely leaning towards the mother because I'm growing the mother right beside it. So for a breeder to do that is like not only really cool, but it shows like some trust in the person they're sending it to as well. Because I don't think there's maybe a handful of people.
Can I get a cut of that after the show?
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, I think might be a handful of people in Maine that have an actual Bruce Banner number 3, and if I was the type of person, I could make a shit ton of money, but I'm not that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
that's why
so that's why you'll send him out for free then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
That's why he sent it out for free.
No. That's why you're gonna send it out.
That's why free. Yep, exactly. That's why he sent it out for free. Yep.
Yeah. I want the angel part.
But Red Pill, do you know if I'm right about that, the space cheese part? I know you know Tony really well.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's the angel.
I don't think we're on good terms. I think he blocked me last time I was in the chat, but that's neither here nor there. So,
cheers. All right.
Cheers.
Supposedly that Space Queen that he has, and that's really good for nerve pain, from what he says. And I've been trying to get a hold of that strain for a while.
Space Queen, Space Queen, Space Queen. Space Queen, Space Queen. I don't. Tony has a Space Queen.
I think there's a space Kush and then there's a space cheese, right?
Yeah, I think Space Queen is the one that someone else did, I think.
Okay.
But
I could
that's
be
neither
mistaken.
here nor there.
Space Queen is a sub cool strain. How in the fuck do you guys not know that shit?
Well, I know that.
Sub cool. Space Queen times Space Queen.
I told you last time, I never knew who Sub Cool was up until
Way to get us in trouble, guys. Way to get us in trouble.
Well, I knew. I guess I should have spoke up.
Hey, I'm from Ohio.
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago, I heard about Sub Cool, and I mean by that point, I think the fire had happened, and he had lost most of his genetics, and like that's the first time I had heard about him.
I don't want to get super technical, but Space Queen was Vic High, Cinderella 99, and Romulan. And then Subcool had F2 of both, Space Bomb and Space Queen / Space Jill. But yeah, this Tony has a Space Kush and a Space Cheese, maybe a couple other ones.
No, maybe it was the space cheese that he was telling me.
Mm.
But he's a tough man to get a hold of.
That's the Space Kush number 2.
So when you going on the boat again, Bob?
Well, Jesus, I don't know now. Both of the boats that I go on are hauled out and they're getting new engines put in, so they're probably not going to be in until June. So yeah, June. But I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of lobstering this year anyways. I think I'll just focus on growing cannabis and helping my wife with her apothecary stuff and Lyme disease work and doing that. So
Rewarding work
yeah.
in a different way.
You know, I've taken an awful lot through my life. I'm glad to give back what I can when I can. I'm at the point where I feel like I should have been doing that all along a little bit more, and now it's time to maybe take those steps to do it a little more.
Good. Nothing wrong with improving your life.
My life's pretty good. I'm at the point where I want to improve other people's life, you know?
Well, that's what I'm meaning.
Yeah.
Same as the tide would say.
Well, it's also making good use of your time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Somebody made that point too. Like, you know, everybody run around super busy, wanted extra time with their kids, and then they got, you know, like COVID hit and changed everybody's schedule, and like, and all of a sudden you got way more time than you thought you were gonna ever have with your kids, you know, or whatever. And it's like, yeah. So some things it's just you got to roll with the punches, you know. Like, I don't know. They're not gonna ship out till June, July. You got to do something, right?
Yeah. Might as well do what you love, and I love doing this. So I mean, this isn't work, and it never has been. And that's the whole part that I love about Living Soil is that I literally did a little like preparatory work and like the mise en place of your soil setup and stuff. But besides that, and maintaining water, I don't do anything. The soil and the worms and the biology and the mycelium in here are doing everything for me. Like I come down here and I might bend a stem or take a leaf off or trim the cover crop, but besides that, my time's just spent down here staring at them and kind of hanging out with you guys and watching other cannabis shows and listening to some music and trying not to get yelled at by my wife.
What would you think of the idea of having kind of like a rectangular shaped grow room? You have one lane down the middle, 2 long beds on each side. Could you do something kind of like perpetual? How does perpetual work in like a bigger bed?
Perpetual is a little hard in a bed because I mean you'd have to roll the beds out from you'd have to transplant it into the bed, veg for maybe just a week, and then you'd have to put them under 12-12. And so you'd have to move the beds from the veg. Okay. So that's the hard part.
Now, what if you have more, tropical varieties that do grow in 12-12? In the tropics, you're getting between 13 and 11 hours of sunlight all the time. So they do those, Am I right, Kevin? 420.
You could totally do it with autoflowers.
Or autoflowers.
You could run a perpetual Living Soil with autoflowers, like amazing. Each bed, 4 plants, and each one set in a week separate from each other.
Because you just want them all to be relatively the same height.
I'm sorry.
Are you doing this so that you can control where the canopy is because they're all the same height? Like if you
Am I
did,
doing?
like all different varieties, you did 12 different varieties and you did it perpetual, they'd be all different shapes and sizes and heights. And is that what the veg period is for that you're saying? Why you would need a week of veg?
So you can fill the scrog. You could
Yeah, well,
transplant a bigger plant possibly and try to do that. But yeah, if you're flipping right into flower, I don't know. I mean,
So like
yeah,
if
you
I
want
took
you
a
can
air
do
layer,
it with a bunch of them, like a sea of green, where you get, you know, a bunch of
yeah,
transplants and you got the stems coming up like that. But like, I don't know.
yeah,
You got to give them
you
time.
still want to give your plants a few days to acclimate. You don't want to throw them right into veg when you at least that's what I believe. I know people do, but
exactly, you want those roots to spread out. You know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
want
Into that bed. You want them to search a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
Actually.
if you throw them into flower, there's usually a little bit of shock that goes in with a clone transplant. I mean, in this bed, right, 4x4 bed, I could technically fit 24 clones in here, veg them for a couple days, just make sure that the roots are taken and flower. I could have 20. What's that?
I said you could flip them. If you ran that many clones, you could just flip them. You wouldn't need to let them root even, like you're saying. They'll still root even though they're flipping in a flower. They'll still root.
But
They're
wasted energy, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. It's not. I don't think it's
producing roots.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, it's still gonna grow physically. You know what I mean? You'll still see a stretch. It's gonna grow vegetatively that way. I don't think you're wasting.
That was kind of my concept with the later flowering plants because you're getting the longest period of stretch and growth before they even put on flowers in the first place.
Yeah, I just like to have a little bit of.
The bigger the roots, the bigger the fruits there.
Yeah, well, I think the roots are growing the entire time, right?
Yeah, I just like to have a little connection to the soil, a little before I flower. It just personally, perhaps plants don't even need it, but there's just something inside me that needs to give them that little bit of veg time.
I just think
I'm not saying it hurts. I'm just I'm
not either. Just me personally as a grower, I may be absolutely wrong in that. Please tell me if I am, but
no, I think having an established roots base is great. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can flip them 12-12. Like, you can take cuttings, stuff them in a plug, and put them in 12-12 and try to
another way I would go about it is air layered clones.
I'd expect I got what I got though out of that quick flip. I wouldn't expect the same results.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
If I gave her a couple of days.
If you're growing it would basically be a SOG method inside this 4x4. Your 24 plants would only be 6 or 8 inches apart. And you wouldn't want to veg for 2 weeks. You just want to make sure, just like in a SOG, that the new growth just starts, and then boom, throw them into flower, so that you have that single stalk spear.
Yeah, it would be more ideal.
And then it looks like something out of that pit in the Goonies, you know?
What I'm thinking of though is like, just don't imagine you're inside a grow room, and imagine you're somewhere where it's more that tropical latitude, where no matter what time of year you stick a plant outside, it's going to start flowering eventually. So
I can't put myself there. I'm from Maine. I'm sorry, Redpill. I can't put my headspace there. I've never been to any place tropical, so I don't even know what that is. I've heard about it. It's a fable.
That's why I moved here. Yeah. Traveling is cheap to go to all these different countries. I've been to Europe. I've been all around the United States, Canada, Mexico.
Did you take 4 kids with you?
No.
Yeah, well, times that by
No.
4 or probably even 8.
My daughter's going to be 24, so, and her mother kept her away from me.
Hey guys, I'm gonna check out early. I'm fucking yawning over here hardcore. I'm gonna fall asleep.
Actually, Smiley, I think I'm going to join you as well. I got to get up
You've
and
been
deal with plants in
yawning.
the morning.
You've been yawning since the 2 somethings. I honestly thought you were going to check out about an hour ago.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, it's always fun, man. It was a good day. Hope everybody has a good start to the week. Monday. Fun stuff. See you guys.
See you, Smiley.
Jeez.
See you, Captain. See you, Red Pill. See you, Eagle. Thank you.
Peace out, Cheddar Bob.
See you, Cheddar.
Cheddar Bob, thanks for popping in, my friend.
Yeah, there's still many. I haven't grown in a living soil bed, and I haven't grown totally DWC. Those are 2 complete opposite ends of the spectrum that I didn't never try or experiment with.
Yeah, I haven't went DWC, although I do believe, in my opinion, that that's a race car of the system. So, to be honest with you. Living bed, though, I do believe that I would want to veg at least a week in that bed. For me, I would think the only way I could make a perpetual out of a living bed is to have a bigger system and then be playing whack-a-mole with it. You know, have a bed here, let these 2 veg for a week while those are whatever, while those were flowering, vice versa, and while those were veg, these would be flowering, and then just kind of flip-flopping back and forth there. But yeah.
Well, like I said, I kind of agree with Cheddar Bob, and I think if the planting space is close enough, and you have a plant that has a long period of stretch and growth, then you're kind of making up for that absence of a veg period before, like it's just imagining it if you're growing it in a solo cup, but you're growing so many plants close enough in a bed that the roots only have little or that much more, space to stretch out into. Which I said, maybe that's diminishing results, but I think we can plant cannabis in a lot tighter spaces than we let it. It's just,
that's, I always like talking about that method, but in all honesty, it's a method that none of us can fucking use. You can use. You know what I mean? But you can't use because it doesn't fall into legal numbers. We can talk about this sea of green. Yeah, is it fucking kick ass or does it work? But fucking, does it fit legal numbers? No. I mean, especially like if I were just a one patient or just growing for myself, when I try to see a green all 12 at once and like you guys are talking about in a bed, fuck no. Them things would be definitely vegged out in that.
See, I was even thinking of a sea of green, 3-dimensional. Like now it's a literal sea of green where it's waves. It's got waves where you got long beds. Let's say it's a 4x40 or something bed. And you got 2 on each side of you in the aisle to walk through. And they can be moving, so you can get behind the one and move it towards the center and do the other one to the same thing. Get full access from each one of them. And just have like, different spacing. Do like 16 plants 4x4 that are 1 week, and then do another one that's another week, and then do another one. So you're harvesting like a little 4x4 section every week. And so you're looking at plants that are going, and then coming back down because the new ones are coming in behind that. But you got ones that are just starting off and then a little bit more finishing, and then at the end of their stretch, and then getting bulkier, and then getting more frosty, and then coming back down again and doing the same thing.
Other than swapping me some clones. Off to
Yeah, it's a
these
lot of
girls,
cloning.
although I've already taken some. It's Christmas time. This is one of the 4 Christmas. Look at that girl. Bang, bang, bang. That's one of the 4 Christmas plants. Well, actually, I think there's 5. There's one already in flower there. But I cleaned up, de-leafed the other 3 tonight, and they're actually going in that tent. There's a, let's just walk over there. Back by the skull is another, that's where, that's the angle you're looking at now is a lot of the LED side of things. So this one, these are going back there under the low pro 660. Is where the Christmas is going. Christmas. But yeah, they're ready. Other than cleaning up the bottoms a little bit for the clones, which so far this one's been a bitch to fucking clone, man. Every other thing in the cloner has rooted, except the Xmas. It's just barely showing roots, which is disappointment because this is one of the ones. Isn't that how it works though? The ones you really, 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 really want.
Yeah,
Fucking don't clone it.
it's always one aspect.
You gotta work for it a little bit. It makes it worthwhile though. Sometimes they take 3-4 weeks to root. Oh, well, if they're worth it.
There's always some compromise. Your favorite terpene, the one you like the most because of its terpenes always turns out to be the one that's the lowest yielding.
So there's 4 in that tent that size right there. And then back there, you can actually see one of the earth boxes right above the skull back there. There's 2 earth boxes side by side. And then there's some Tiger King and another Xmas back there. Got some Bingus Blue Miles, 2 of them back there, and a 6-shooter back in that LED tent. And then back over here on this side is an HLG and a Majestic 12 side of things. That area there gets popped on. It's usually in flower right now. I've got a bunch of girls in 3 gallons over there and vegging over there that will be probably up potted today, Monday, Tuesday, depending time permitting. Definitely stopping at the grow store to grab some dirt for those. And then they'll be kind of right here where the Xmas were on deck, vegging for about a week and a half. And then they will probably go back into that tent for flower. They'll probably go back in there a little bit earlier anyway. There's not room. There's the 3 gallons versus what they'll fit in 10 gallons is heavy, so not everybody can fit in there. And then yeah, be rolling again. Most things will be full again in flowering. So, look, you guys don't usually get over here. LED side of things. I got this one too. If you remember the other night where this is I believe a Mendo logo. Oh no, this is a Blue Mile, another Blue Mile that I spread open the other night. Remember her? She's already starting to fill all this in already. About another week, probably be pulling these bigger leaves off tomorrow, which will drive more growth into these little branches and be pulling them down. Should be ready for her 4x4 area here in just about a week tops. Tops should be ready to fire. There'll be room for it as well. A bit of what I've been doing in the background.
You know, that made me think too is sea of green, if you don't like cloning, is gonna be a hassle too. Or if you don't get high success rates of even growing clones. So I don't know. I don't know when I'm undecided on whatever's, because I don't know what I knew what used to work for me. It used to be 4 plants under one light. I wonder if that's eventually how I'll end up growing again. If I even need to experiment, should I just go back to what I got the most comfortable with already?
Well, that's what I did for the longest time was quads, the old subcool quads there basically. And anymore because the numbers and wanting to hold the genetics, I'm actually doing more of these style type of plants to where, this one I can, by the time I've got this one manipulated, low stress trained, I'll be able to put her in a, 4x4 all by herself, pretty much on that its own scrub. And that frees up more room for me to have my cut moms. You know what I mean? I'm not pushing things to the limit with quads. I freed up some numbers, a little more veg time, but that just comes in well planning. You know what I mean? The perpetual's still there. It's just a little more planned out. You know what I mean?
When I think of it like that, I think of how good of a job am I gonna do at the manicuring of the plant, because it's the bending it over, it's the defoliating, and it's the topping. Am I gonna let it get out of hand? Am I gonna overgrow it on accident? Or am I gonna, that's another thing where I have, I guess, not as fully comfortable with. Haven't grown with a net because I've decided to. I've grown with nets because I ended up having to, you know. So I never did the thing where I've never vegged through a net. So
I don't. Some overgrowth isn't a problem. You'd be surprised how quickly these gals snap back. You know what I mean? Even this, you know what I mean? I manipulated her hard the other night. And the next day, every one of those branches, every one of those grow shoots were already spun up and looking for the light, perfectly happy. That's what I said too. If I would have went through and top, and let her bush out that way, it would have been a week solid, 2 to 3 days to a week before I see new growth. And on that. It was just easier to manipulate her. Even if you have to bend brand, pinch and bend them over a little bit, they still come back a lot quicker from the top.
I would do four plants and 4 tops to a plant. So that can be that doesn't have to be the size that it was. Just happened to be in a 4x4. I could do the same thing in a 3x3 or 5x5. Change pot size and veg time, we're saying. If I have a setup like where you're at right there, that's where I'll experiment with. I'm gonna, for safety's sake, set up a tent that's perfectly designed to what I'm comfortable with and what I'm used to, and then I'll have side by sides of the conflicting ideas that I have. Is it better this way or is it better that way? So I guess I need like a literal scientific grow with a control to make sure I don't fuck things up and then ruin both experiments and then have no medicine or low amounts of medicine.
No, you gotta have them grow fire. You're growing fire there, redpill. I know.
Well, then if I knew how to, if I went back to, like, if I looked at it like competition wise, then I would go right back to a little proprietary soil blend. Now, the only thing dictating something new or that I've grown HPS and CMH. I've never grown with the LED. I have LED strips in my veg light. I've never flowered with LED. So, in comfort wise, I would be using 1,000 watt because that's where I got the best result with. could be a 600, like I said, if it's in a smaller tent, but it would be 4x4 space / tent. It's not to be tent, could be room, space. Footprint that the light covers, 4 plants under it, tops 2 times each, so that they have 4 main colas. Vegged until they're maybe like 12 to 15 inches tall, and then flowering and hoping that well, let's say I'm even growing a plant that I know that doesn't stretch 3 to 4 times. So the finish height's going to be like 3-4 feet tall. And I guess subconsciously I didn't know that people have a method of doing this, but the closest defoliating / lollipopping method that I did was like the 21-42 thing, where around day 21 I'm cutting off lower branches and any fan leaves that are directly covering flower sites, and then pretty much doing the same thing at day 42. Any of the little straggly branches that develop good under the bottom or have that potential, if they're not getting enough light, that they would throw Hermes. And then defoliating it again. Any leaves that needed defoliating because they're getting, discolored or anything like that, or same thing. Tended to grow out and stretch out in a big covering both sides. And I don't know if that's, like I said, totally utilizing the amount of square footage in a tent or 4x4 space, but we're just talking about growing dank or growing fire. And when you're doing that, you're not really concerned about yield, I guess. Because I guess more of what I'm talking about comes in what's in that soil mixture, which would equal out the fire, right?
For me, the defoliating and cleaning her up all depends on a few different things. Well, defoliating always, soon as she's done stretching, I go in and clean her up. Anything where like a branch and a stem meet, you know what I mean? Anytime where a branch, there's an intersection right there, stretch is over. I'm not worried about that branch growing anymore. So I snap that off, let that energy go up into bud sites and other places. So that's done as soon as the stretch is over. But as far as cleaning her up, that all depends on how the stage, how far I've let her get in veg, how much of a stretcher she is. If she's a real bad stretcher and I let her get a little bit too big, I'll let that underneath go. I'll let that underneath go until she's done stretching. I'll look at that as somewhat that energy down there to be somewhat of like a brake material. You know what I mean? To keep the whole plant from shooting up. Then when I think she's done stretching, then I'll go in and clean all that shit up. But if I, again, vice versa, if I need her to shred and stand up a little bit taller, I go in there way before, maybe even a couple of days in veg before I've even flipped her.
I did leave out one major thing, is not only did I think of it as the 21-42 thing, but the day it goes into flower too, it would already be, like I said, over vegged, a lot of foliage. So day 0, day 21, and day 42. And then somewhere between that day 21 and day 42, because I'm growing a plant with 4 main colas, I was getting spinning around methods too to try to control the height of all 4 of those colas to make sure they're even. But then in between that day 21 and 42, I would stake them. And a lot of the times, like going, hindsight now, what I would do is I'd put the stakes in right away. Like I said, I'd be going from like a 2 to a 5 gallon, and I'd have, I'd preform where the transplant's going to go. I'd, backfill the 5 gallon with a whole bunch of soil, leave a 2 gallon in there so I could remove it and easy transplant right into it. But then, so I don't have to stake when there's roots growing in there on day 0 or the 2 weeks before, like that. In this case, in pots and containers, we're going back to the conversation. There's pre-veg time in that container before it goes into flower, 2 to 3 weeks. So put it in there, but the day I transplant it, also put those stakes in there. Is like, it's already primed with the stakes. So they're already there getting tied up to it, and then it would either be once or twice getting tied up there. And they're like normal bamboo stakes, to where the bottoms two the bottom third of the plant's getting tied up to that stake, and then in between that day 21 and day 42, I'm going to tie it to some part of the plant that has a nice spot that I can tie it to without rubbing into the buds or doing something like that. And then I'll maybe even just clip the excess leftover part of the bamboo, unless it just happened to be such a big plant that's where the top of the bamboo is anyways. But all four of those branches are anchored then, and they can pretty much get as heavy as they want or need to. And I learned on doing that the hard way, because I would think of like, oh, I'm just going to tie them up when I can tell they're going to fall over. And then I'd be looking at the plant being like, I'm going to have to tie up one of these days soon. And then, close up the tent. The next day, open up the tent, and all the plants are laying on the ground. So it's like, God, fuck, I should have tied them up the second I saw them. So in this case, they'd be tied up before they even get heavy.
I want to come visit your guys' houses when you're like defoliating all these plants and everything, because I look at all those and I think, damn, okay, that branch is a clone, that branch is a clone, that branch is a clone, that top's a clone. That's the way I look at plants. I think more plants, the better plants. Why? Your friends always need plants to trade to get new strains. Spice of life is the key to life.
Mhm.
But, I understand defoliating a plant a lot. And I think a lot of people take defoliation a little bit too far, because I've always been told that, the fan leaves and those leaves coming out of the buds are all solar panels. If it's not covering the top or other buds, leave those. But,
But
my
they get to a
plants are,
point where them giant leaves get to a point where they use more energy than they actually create at some point. So you got to get them the fuck out, in my opinion. They
Same
block
thing.
out light to other areas, and they consume more energy when they get bigger than the average leaf. Anything that's bigger than the average leaf on the plant, in my opinion, especially if it's red stemmed, out of there.
yeah.
God.
If it's
You,
covering a bud, by all means, take that sucker. If it's the really, really big sucker leaves, take them. You're not outdoors,
right.
and yeah, strip the bottom third of that plant. Let that air go through. That's very important, especially for pest controls.
Yeah, like I said,
But yeah,
on day
I look
0.
at a
Oh, go ahead, my bad. I'm sorry.
I look at a plant and you guys are defoliating it, and I'm thinking, okay, wow, I see like 21 clones on that plant. 28 clones, cool.
I mean, I would take advantage of that. I mean, that's the thing about plant counts and breeding. If you have to make duplicates of all the seeds that you're making to take clones of, whatever, ups your plant count. But that's exactly how I would do it. I would be taking my plants long enough to be big enough to flower, defoliating, not really defoliating, but like I said, cloning them. And then those plants would go into flower. And then depending on if they're male or female, obviously if you don't want seeds, get rid of the males. Even though when I get rid of those males, I still have a clone of the ones I thought were worth, any further examination than that. And then you just finish out the females. And, that's the best way of keeping the plants the smallest and the fewest clones that you have. You can. That's another thing I like about the air layering too. Like I wouldn't even look at it as defoliating. I would literally just make an air layer clone from it. from a bottom branch, and then just cut that whole branch off. Now you cleaned up the bottom third of it, or made a better place for air to move. But then you also keep that as a clone branch too, and because it's bigger too. You don't have to take a clone that's only a couple inches tall. An air layered cutting could be 2 feet tall.
I don't know. I look at them as $10 bills, $15 bills. That's it. It helps pay my
Only
electric.
spread
It
yourself.
helps pay my, it helps, pay my groceries, and that's it.
It's an extra risk. It's an extra step. It's an extra. It's extra time to, just delivering them. I gotta make. It might be a few extra $10, but I make that same money doing something else just as easy. That is already in the program, basically. Like taking up clones to sort of sustain to what I'm doing here, and that's about it. Fuck. As far as even sharing genetics, the even thought of passing shit is new to me. To be honest with you, fuck, you didn't fucking pass shit back in the day. You wanted the edge on the other guy. You didn't fucking pass
Exactly.
shit. It ain't. It's not like today where you were like, yeah, this is great. This is new community stuff. But back in the day when it was more serious and all underground shit, you didn't pass cuts of that fucking fire. Fuck that guy. You didn't want him to have a cut. Sorry to say, but that's fucking true.
I've experienced that as well. I traded clones with someone. Me, I'm naive. We're all young and naive. And I gave him a clone of everything I had in the garden. He gave me a clone of everything he had in the garden, but one. There's one he held on to and kept that he didn't give me. It was a Chem Dog clone.
After I got busted and lost all those seeds, and then I moved to Michigan, I started giving away and making sure that 2 to 3, 4 people had backups of everything I had.
I tried that. Every time I tried to give a backup out to somebody, that guy he was never there when I went back. Never there when I came back. I gave it to a buddy. I had fucking a problem. My garden had to go down. Never there. Never there. I gave up on that shit. I just gave up on it for years. In fact, the first 2 clones I'd taken in 10 to 12 years were just recently from Jack Greenstock and from Alex Hardy. First 2 clones I've taken in 12 years. Didn't want the problems.
No,
I've always been testing seeds. Like I said yesterday when I was talking with my guest, as far as being a tester, dabs for dads, I always had in my garden. I still don't care about hype. Hype's already been there, done that. I've always been in search of, the new, hopefully pheno hunting. Hopefully it's coming out of my garden, the one everybody's going to want next. And again, if you found that fucker, you gave yourself some fucking leeway. You sat on it, made as much money with that cut as you could, and then you fucking passed it on to a couple of good buddies that wanted you to step up. They didn't fucking, you just, no.
The Gorilla Glue clones that I made for a friend, he sold them at they're in Flint, $50 a piece. So yeah, I handed him a tray of them and said, "Here's your tray." And people were just lined up, ready to buy them.
I'm kind of there too. I don't know if it's a just thing, that eventually dates you, but there's way more seeds that I'm after that are old than new clones that I'm after. Stuff that's nostalgic to me that I want to get versus stuff that's new that I see people go after now. That doesn't, grab my attention at all as much as, something that I had at one time that I want to replace. And then kind of the same thing, because I'll eventually be breeding them if I can, rebuild a catalog that I have across the stuff that I like from there. And then there's like going to be a whole time gap between seeds or strains that I didn't even care, that I cared little about, versus that you look at my seed, you look at the crosses of all my seeds, and then we're like, oh, you're like, you must have been making these like in the early 2000s or something. Like, oh no, I'm just old, I just like those strains.
Those strains that had like 4 and 8 phenotypes, not like today where they have like 128.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Those were nice and easy genetics to work with. The lemon G Quirkle cross, there's 8 phenotypes to that. So, those are really easy to work with. But for the past 15 years, basically everything is made into a bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically went down one path and you decide to, oh, well, this has got more THC in it. Well, I don't care about THC. I care about the other things that are in the plant, because 18% THC does me just fine. It gets me where I need to go. But it was too smelly. It was something old, and this is something new. And that's the way it went. And everybody forgot about the strains. People got busted. The strains got lost. And now everybody, including myself, are looking for those strains again. I'm looking at them to rebuild a palette. Because if I get my palette, I can make about everything I want.
I was just going to say that I need to, it's worth to me, like a lot of people say it's going to be a wild goose chase, but I know what I'm looking for. And if they're available and in stock, even if they're outdated, like, there's strains from seed banks. And I thought, in my mindset, I'm thinking that they're just overlooked. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no pheno drift. Didn't get, bad over time. It's just no one wants it because they want something new. But it's still available. There's, European, seed bank distributors that have all the old stuff that probably like old and dusty in the shelf. And it's like, I almost want to call up like Attitude in those places and be like, what seeds have you had the longest? What's your least common seeds? What are the ones that people buy the least of? What's the ones that you have the most stock of that are like in the back of the fucking closet? Those are the kind of ones I want to grow out of, because my senses and my palate and knowing what I like, both what I like to cultivate as far as like the plant structure and the finishing time and maintenance and it going and how much it likes your environment. I know all those things. And then I know, what satisfies me is the finished, product as a result. But yeah,
a lot of those European seed companies that you think have these old strains, do your research on them first. A lot of them are their interpretations of those strains. So, always do your homework first. And it's getting close to 420 here.
19, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Or, yeah.
Yeah, I've even been keeping an eye on that one.
I do know there became a point where, it wasn't saturated like it is now. And you have like 12 different, even then you had 12 different seed companies that all had White Widow. Right. But
but you only had one original.
Right. Yeah. So my whole thing is I've done the research of figuring out that math behind it. But then even then, when I'm like, no, I did the research, like I've researched where all these strains originally come from. And the source where you could still get them. But then they'll say like, yeah, but it's a 30-year-old strain and it's changed over time and it's not as good as it used to be. And I'm like, but is it not as good as it used to be because you like stuff from today? Or you gained a tolerance to the old stuff and it doesn't satisfy you the same? Or we have different tastes and nostalgia? You know, that's the thing. Because I feel like that they're, you know, you could name like 12, go look at a catalog from like 2001, whatever the most 20 popular strains were in 2001. If you could get all those, you know, 1 out of 20 of them's got to be it. I'm gonna get 1 in 20 odds. One of them being what you thought it was. Remember it as. I'm just being, that's not being
If
optimistic.
it was some good breeding, I would think so. In my opinion, if you've got to look through a couple hundred fucking seeds to get the phenotype that's on the package, there's something fucking wrong there. Cheers. It's 420.
Cheers. Mikey,
Holy shit. Sorry, hold on. I'm working on it right now. There you go. Sorry about that.
you know, when I started buying seed, people would talk shit about Aryan from Greenhouse. And then, you know, it was also like anything that's feminized is bad. Right?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, that's what I mean. I had to know that these are
I
the
would
things.
say anything with Franco's fingerprints on it
Yeah.
is totally fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I want to go back. Like I'm in the Franco. Any bit of Greenhouse that I followed and bought seeds, you know, anytime I bought seeds from Greenhouse, Franco was there. But that's just because I'm young. I'm not of age, and I wasn't fucking with Ariane when in the 90s or whatever, you know, pre-Franco. But I'm gonna do it. I mean, hey, someone's got to take the chance, right? I'm gonna buy some old Greenhouse. I'm gonna buy some old Big Buddha seeds. Gonna buy some old Mr. Nice. You know, all those, you name it.
Me and Matthew just split some skunk seeds. Skunk #1s for Mel Frank. So I think I acquired a few more of those seeds, and we're gonna do a big open pollination on those too, because that's a big pheno hunt. But those are 1980s, 70s, 80s skunks. Skunk #1.
Yep.
So, you know, we're gonna give it a go, see how it is. See if I can't find that unicorn there, Eagle.
Hopefully you do. Well, guys, I hate to do this to you, but we got to wrap it up. We're going to have to wrap it up. I've got a full day tomorrow. I've been off more than I can chew, like I usually do for a Monday. Made promises that I hope I can keep. Told the tile job that I did the bathroom there. They asked me to do the floor as well. So I have to tear out and put back the floor today. I told them it would be a 1-day job. Was it 80 square feet? Hopefully they've got everything out of there. Hopefully it's a 1-day job if they've got everything moved. I got to take time to move a washer and dryer and all that good shit.
Learning all about you now with all this, you know, you would have really loved to meet me when I was in Durant, because I lay some really good hardwood and tile. Being a mason, that kind of comes second nature, and that's what I was doing as a side job there for a while to make some money. But yeah, it would have been cool. I can't wait to come meet you. thanks for the opportunity tonight, and everybody have a good night, and I'll sign off and let you guys finish this up. Peace
Was
and
that-
love, everybody.
Before you go, was
Good
that
night,
rain
my
real
friend.
bad that other night?
Pardon me?
Was the rain real bad that other night? Wanted to ask. I
Oh,
forgot about
yes. When it rains here, it's like turning on the shower. Full blast. That's what it's like. And
Yeah.
it rains really hard, and it rains for a short period of time, or it rains for hours. But
It's
it
raining every
happens all the time.
monsoon season, right?
It's rainy season, yeah. Well, you guys have a good night. Thanks a lot for another enjoyable night, Eagle. Red pill,
Thank you, my
take
friend.
care.
Yep.
Everybody out in chat. Peace. We'll see you in a second.
Great chatting with you. Thank you, Eagle. Same here. Love hanging out here. I do appreciate it.
Appreciate you popping in, my friend. Works both ways.
Thank you. I think we covered a lot of good bases. Last night's wormhole was real fun too. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Hope it was entertaining for you getting work done in the background there.
Oh, it was. It was. I got a lot done too. I'm almost the garden. The garden anymore is honestly. I've said this a lot, and I talked to Smiley about this last night. Is one of the reasons why I jumped down and took the helm. Is you know, there's been a few reasons the last year where I've kind of let things slow down and things. Trust me, as well as they look right now, things would be popping a lot more better for sure. And between sub and a few other things been a little crazy, but it's time to get things back on focus, get things going, operating like the way they should, which is gonna mean cutting a few corners on some wormholes. So it's either going to take, and I said this a while back ago, it's either going to take it like a team effort to keep them going, or they're just going to, it may just end up coming down to like a Monday type thing. But I'm going to keep trying. But, I got to keep the garden going first and foremost. I got to get it back to its glory.
I don't think you should let anything get in your way from doing that, especially if I like I said, I'd be grateful to be in your position right now and give everything I got into growing again. But because I can't do that, and if you do need help, with wormholes, I'd be happy to use my time to do that. So
Nice, because I do, I'd like to hear that because I do love this community, and everybody likes hanging out. I'd like to have a place for everybody to hang out. You know what I mean? I feel bad the nights I can't do it, man. For real, man. This is something that has become a great part of me. When I'm not able to hang out, man, it's a void. It's a void.
Yeah.
But it needs to keep going.
I know. I was just about
if
to
I'm
say,
able to do it or not, man, it needs to keep going.
it's one void, one form of the void or another, because for me it's the growing aspect of it and the non-show and tell. I was just thinking as you're saying I was thinking that that's my missing piece to it. Like for me, I would have a whole nother level of enjoyment if I could use that as another form of communication too. Yeah. But like I said, I mean, it's not even been just a whole past year. It's been a lot of other stuff on top of that. And I'm just kind of grateful that it's slowly heading in a more positive direction,
Forever says once a week wormholes. I'm already having withdrawals. I love it, Ned. You're awesome.
No, I'm here to help.
All right.
I'm gonna help you with that. If you need to, just let me know.
I will, man. I will. Greatly appreciate you, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow night in the wormhole.
Okay. Thank you, Eagle. See you guys later. Peace out, chat.
All right, guys, that does it. 388. Holy cow, I forgot to put the 0.5 in there, didn't I? Holy cow, I gotta go back and edit it. Let's see here. What the heck? This thing's running out fast and crazy shit. I don't even know. Just give up on that. All right, guys, let's get some shout outs here. I remember this song from the After Hours days here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Give me back my bullets on some ammo box. Where the fuck is Tom playing? Oh, that's it. Didn't want to go down. You guys know the deal. It's time for the shout out so I can get out. Go spin this way a little bit here. There we go. A little better. Some cool. I miss you, brother. D's House of Dank. Model Law 710. Scarecrow 420. Green Thumb Bum. Christina MG 89. Unplugged 705. Medical McCullough Cuddy. The Rick T. The Brother the 9207. Fabian Salinas. Dave's not here. Tom Spook. Greg Walker. Mendo Dope. T Dog. Dung Beetle. Red Eye Jedi. Grows. Mother Nature. Justin Conway. Duckweed. Run Boy 7426. Justin Goodard, Strongman, Okie Grower 75, Corey Trevor, Michael Wallace, Mo Vision 420, Who's Your Cat Daddy, Taco Don Slug, Brick S, In the Bushes 827, James Hahn, Kevin Home, or Kevin Hahn, World's Last Hope. There you go. That's how that goes. Pats Fan 420, Bio Mentor, Dirt Road Dude, Kenishiva, Jose Ramirez, Red Eye Rustler, Dab Godboy, Dr. Buzz Lightyear, Acetone 710, Canuck, Kenna Queen, Genetics, Stabby, Tanase, Fundar, Dirtman, Dan, Keith the Black Sales, Mr. Bacillus, Zen Premium Gardens, Rasta Bob, Rasta Jeff. Cheers you to the EO crew. Sold Root, Small Tubes, Tyler, Frosty Buds, North Michigan, Micro, Ouija Buds, Dub T Roy, Big Jar Grows, JC, Modern Genetics, SoCal Weedner, John, Last PPJ, 15, Green County Growers, TJ Apple, Perfectly Imperfected, Dollar Tree Grower, T1 Production, Tank Grower, DOA Grow Men's, we miss you as well. Miss Nudie Grows, I Gruesome, Johnny Candace, Nutrient Shootouts, Nunny, Nikki, Zoe, and Slammer, NNY, Pixel Monkey, St. Bernard's, Observation Booth, Clover 420, High Spy, Aldridge 25, Madam T's 2, Moo, Mo Grower, The Cannon Crate, Loki Grows, Sus, This Guy, Burton 79, Polish Hammer, Midwest, Outlaws, Voodoo, Ultras, Fresno Nerds, Kelly Connection, Wolverine Grove, Big Jar Grows, Jimmy One for Life, Wade, Way Back, Farmer, D Block, MM&P, Nations Creations, Amber Lalana, Psychedelic Warlock, Artist LD, Sir Sticky, Rob, Big Dave 420, Brent Wendell, Big Ed 1961, Manawana, G3, Green Click, J&K Triple G, Mr. Sprinkly, Brittany and Tyler Teasley, Hope Barbs, Lisa G, John, B2 Crazy for You, BG, WG 420, Dr. Budswell, Third Purple Thumb, OG, Arthur O, Sense Me, Arthur O, Just Face 420, Beast Coast Code, Sir Howe, Trey Valone, Keep It Real, Egerton 420, Sub Zeppelin, Audit Everywhere, BT, Double D Grows, Bingus 503, we miss you, brother. Green Puffin Man, Alex Boy, Jeff, South Life, School of Crop, Cause I Love It, Green Mountain Grower, Southwest Okie Reels, 100, 212, Andy Man, Miranda Family Farms, Page Farms, Me All Flower, Ryan Henderson, Green 13, Noob Sailbot Wins, King of Aquaponics, Indra, Michigan Native, Mary Jane's Med Garden, Streamer 77, Double D, Bad Bunny, Nutrients, Mr. Green Pots, Mr. Green Nugs, from 619 to 664, Spaniard, Kruger, Jones, and the Girl, Papa G Grows, Raz Amy, Dro Grows, Cass, the Girl from Your Heart Podcast, Lily Luna, the Green Mid Flock, Jeremiah Miranda, Stony Creek, Lost Art, Mr. No One, LG 420, Giant Mike, Prometheus Soil, Jason Eyestone, P. Win, David Colby, Mason 662, Scroggy Mix, Scroggy 10th the 4th, the Goddess Grows, Kaylee, Chad Brad Family Farms, Polly P, Kevin Jodry, Mike Honcho, J. Huggins, UDA, Green Tree Huggard, Kush Cloud, Joshua Seamless, Organic Home Buds, Warren Nelson, Cam Wood, Maine Mystic, Show Love Always, Kelly Stone, Texas OG, Chuck Norris, Sarge S, Claire Fresno, Happy Guy, Dan the Indoor Man, Groomies, Homies, Hamilton, Bros, Clip Snow, Clip Smoke, Keystone, Canna Flag, PA, Big High 710, Eugene Greenleaf, Ace Drew, also Fred, John Collis, Darn Carlos, North Arizona Beer Grove 420, No Sellout, Jesse White, Gastain Yeti, Interford, Genetics, Soso J, Vixen Robin, Killer 8 Mo, James Buttercream, C Dub from NorCal, The Pharmacy Seed Bank, Deadhead, Smokey 616, Curtis Mayhem, Matt Myron, Morte, Rick Heyman, Stephanie Dory, Tennis Seeds, Fab Carries K, Mike Rubles, the Drew Bear 420, Maxi 751, Lawrence Gonzalez, Slow to Get Up, Stu Moo, Popco 719, Bake with Shake, Baby, Old School Grower, PWC, Grown Buds, Lord Wash, Mr. Weed Blunt, Old Smoke, Chad Westport, Honcho Grown, Florida Nugs. Let's get to you. My Little Piece of Heaven, Punch It Sound Seeds, Glass Grower, Richard T, Chrissy Wannabe, Mr. Soul, Full Spectrum, Gone God, Lori Henson, Real 2,000 Years of Tradition, Mr. D. Conley, Pimp Jam, McBody Face, Show Me Sasquatch, Fuck Google and You, I'm Going Well, Baby Canadian Restore, Portal Dirt Farmer, Paul Wright, Zeffner, Homer Farts, Tammany Farm, Seldom Seen, Oak Park Gardens, Hal 9782, Skunky Palace, Martial Artist 2012, Micro Slave Hefner, Danny McDizzle, Medically Fit, KGB, Robert, Mr. Green Fingers, Motherfucking Thomas, Rancher Coach of Plenty, Monkey Balls, Andrew Chaplin, Bobby Lynn Means, Trent Digger, Mr. Mac, Told You Like Bloating, Bill, Ask Me Weed Please, Cater Delicious, Minty, Country Roots, Huron Fire Genetics, Earth Creeper, Big Ray 420, TD 101, Buzz and Hazard, Miss Club 14, Peter B-Man Farms, 616, Knowledge North, Max Groove, Ruby, Timothy McKimmons, Manil, Justin Beans, Draconic 88, Fat Belly, Real, Jennifer Steele, Kinbus 03, Turk Barber, Shannon Stevens, Carlitos, Latinos, Greater Country, Mr. Speed, Wolf Seed, Firesaw, Wally Wookie, The Goddess Grows, Rasta Bob, White Belly Grows, man, that fucking Tiger King is killing it. Burning Shrooms, Tone Grows, Day, K-Man Grows, BX Gunner, Smith Dude, New Grows, Sean McCann, Jay Muntz, Jake Agenda, Walla Walla Canna Grove, Ball Dog, Huron Cannabis Council, Let's the Paris Rock Fam, Justice Make, 420 Grow, Fresh Grows, Thriving Herbs, Hi Man, Your Man Grows, We Be Growing, Australian Grow, Love for the Plant, Argo American, Smart Poker, Unfrozen Caveman, Hawaii's Finest, Hawaii's Highest, I'm sorry, Surfcraft, Michael Groove, Jeff Lowenfels, Mobius Grows, Stank Brownies, Danny D, Dandy, Elliot Harkins, Mystic Flavor for the Foraging Gardener, Overwater, Overkill, Seattle Steve, Shadow Warrior, Valley Green 514, Amelia Jensen, Oz Indica, Dr. MJ Coco, Brandon Ruths, Matthew Gates, D's Bag, Strone Star, Shotgun Willie, Dank Yoda, Jason is Sherbrooke Grows, Clackamas Coop, DJ Conley, Aaron the Grower, like 1978, Michigan Grown Buds, Your Boy Roy Boy, Delta 9, J. McDaniels, Clackamas 420, Stinky Colas, Dylan Time for PFC Farms, Husky Garden, Sun Grown 707, J8 Drove, J420, Cascadian Grows, Tito's McGee, Four Plants 8, Weedworks, Captain Scrog, Skunky Buns, Hans Warrior, Jackie Young, Terry Lee Live, McGasser Tempe, Annie N, D Urge, Green Jr., Leon from On Purpose Plus, Green Goose 11, Smiles 11, Bindu Buds, Micro Rasa Funny, 311, Mix Up, Kinder Grows, Evergreen Haze, G Friends Tree, MMJ, Matt S, A Ball, Dragonfly B, Justin Menz, Travis Walls, Lucky Mike, Seattle Chronic Seeds, King Chronic, Titan from Blessed Coast Seeds, Shango Gas, Vasso for Life, John Smith, Tommy Trico, Smoke King, Raz, Pop Little, Slow Roll, Spiky Pilots, Oscar Green Jr., Matt Steelbird, Into 11, Step TV, Shark Cody 999, Bon Baran, Savin Garden, Stoner Nations 420, Joe Y, Bugs 1313, Grower Painted Lady, Frank Booth, Jay Myers, Jamid, the Chat, Mr. Manny D, Mr. Bag Seed, Dr. DGC, Jeff, Shredder 911, Dutch Grows 420, Scallywag, Skillbo 1, Bedgrower 1, Empire Brady Co. for Broly, Lost Leaf, VMS, Danny Daco, B Bear 7, Ollie Noble, CK, Tom Trinidad, Mooney Jester, Smoking with Small Town, Tim Ness, Mr. Lazy, Rafter Grows, Rob, Automation is Freedom, Robert Hazelton, Dora Michigan Choir, Double Tap Farms, Mr. Green Thumb, 420, 808 Rooting Prospects, Cicada Bus Drivers, Hayden Life, Kenny 710, Operation Grove, T-Ben, Root Nuts, Hammered Emails, thank you both, Dr. Scrambles, VB, Moon Rocks, DH, F Double J, BioGreen, Stealth Grower 56, Hanky Stanky 420, OG, KP, Ganja Nana, Your Mama, Georgia Joe, Roy Rodriguez, B. Growing, Nature's Best Nuts, Killer Bee Grows, Ganja Wizard, Husky Gardens, Nut Tree 420, Dr. Ooze, for Life 420, Bully for Life 420, the Jeffro 420, Beavis 698, Dr. Franklin Booty, goddamn, I'm Big Ted's Test, the Riffin' Fat Boy, Jack Greenstock, I seen you tonight, missed you, brother, 420, 420, Boots Farms, Charlie Farm 420, Aldridge 25, Smileys Gardens, much respect to you, I believe you know that, I hope you know that, JD's, Misty's Nugs, miss you, Smoking Grove, Fraser, Grokoski, Twisted Roots, Faded Farm 420, Jeff Jarowski, Genetic Memory, Farms of Ball 420, Cameron, Mr. Bagsy, Jill Carter, Mystic Marks, Mystic Grower, Ginger Snaps, EDTE, Grows A, Rick Wolf, DLP 2372, then Denver, Mike Denver, Sergeant Pepper 420. Who else we got here? Ken Trooper, Blind Cat 420, Light Up Again, Tim. UKSIF 420, Devin Shipwreck, Medical MJ, Budsville, USA, Resurrection Prophet, Chris Martinez, Date Man 420, Date Man Dan, Red Center Farms, Good Life, Joni Bell, Chicha B, No Sated Grower, the Major General 420, Army American one, W Digger 714, Shirates, Kenny Olsen, Mountain Skies, ready to hit that hot fire, Chris Mertz, Ian, Save Robbie, Sergeant Live, Hip Fay Can, Finger Lakes Finest, Ridge Patch, Dozer, Moon, Southern BT Grower, Choose Medical, Jerry Bear, Plus One, Mushroom, Secret City, Pioneers, My Little Tank, 2042, Space Walker, Christian, Tree Mum, T. Barrington, Heart and Soul, Homegrown, Mike B, G. Dwayne, East Coast Will, Heidi Day, Galactic Gardens, John Smith, Liptis, My Natural Farms, Pacific Northwest Seeds, Ross Kai, Ball Limit, Homeco Trench, Rita's UC Life, Richard 420, Grant Manual, Mary Bond, Simon Sizzle, 81, 9 Inch Colas, Chris Moon, DK Trades, Vision Creator, Guru, The Kind Brew, Cannon Nation, J. Wires, Rob Wobby, Sean Benz, Rescue Ready, Silk, Roadside LLC, Notorious Snugs, Magna Seeds, Father and Son, Tutoring, Tutorial, Sub T Day, Jose Ramirez, Martin, Perez, Dog with the Hut, 420, Fuck Chico Bad GR, 420, Community Videos, Detroit River Rat, Lewis Garcia, Michael P, AJ, Every Day, Cheddar Bob 13, Main Grower, Men Grower, Cookies Coop, Jake Kendricks, and for the grill, thank you for stopping in yesterday, my man. Backwoods All Good, Sally Man Sales, Adams, Skankin, Chanel Simpsons, One Smoke Away, Ganja Roads, Kazoo, Aaron Burning Shrooms, Mr. Lincoln, Stinking Angel Studios, MG, 420 Grow, Ted, Paul Diella, John Fleming, Dankovich, Fibro, Flower, Polly P, Seldom Seen, Elevated, Lenny Organic, Sunny Man, Chiba Sunny, for Jeff Popalik, I'm sorry, Jeff, Ricardo Sosa, Dan J, Earth Friendly Farmings, Candy Forest Farmer, fuck all that, be the Misfit Grower, Jason Line 512, Snake Eyes for Northern 4466, Jason Gray, so Bake Stony Baker, MD, Sony Creeker, Russ Cyan, Friends Dweller, Tarzan, Superman, Old Man, Herman Hass, hopefully you're doing well, Freebird, Bone Grower, Matty Gar, Simple Man, Survival Time, Tim Blake, Golf Coach, Chronic, Saint Fat, Chemo Sky. Oh, that's Dankovich. I'm sorry, Dankovich. I got it twice. Clavalero, Harley Grower, Jen God, Steve Collins, Todd Kedricks, Property Maintenance, Sharpie, the Allen Hayes, Scuba Steve Speaks, J.R. Ream, Pharmacy, Brady K. I'm sorry. TCDR, Claire Killian, Warborough, Farming, Randy Grande, Pip 1000, Ace, Boom 20, 3223, Wake Up, Captain Freedom B, Puffer Smiles, 50 Digit, Michigan Ganja, Moog, Fred G, Super Bob, Weekend at Bergie's 88, and Weekend at Bernie's Groski 808, K-Bag, Justin Station, Strong Style, Organic, Zippy, iMedic 31, Honesty, K-Hell, Me All Flower, Brent Moog, Todd Kendricks, Newton, K&T, Chris D, True Soup, Bo Times Bo, Natty Dread, Barbara Matthews, Ancient Soul, Grown, Kevin Jiu-Jitsu, Canada Health and Happiness, Berserk 215, Clav, Low Cut, Albert Trendley, Mo, Manic Meds, Raz Banshee, Yellen, Huge, Adis, I seen you changed it, but I forgot what you changed it to. James T, Atomic Spoon, Miss Jill, Big Daddy, LT Gardens, High Flyer, 420, Lobster Brush, Bro, Mother Tree, Maine, Yo Boy, Roy Boy, Aesthetic, Shannon Gibson, Drew Han, Rick W, Comfortably Numb, One Smoke Away, the 840 Grow Show, Red Pill 710, thank you for popping in. Cannabis from Suitcase Rolling, Worthy Buzz, Logan Man 81, Oil and Flower Podcast, Entourage Effect, Warren Nixon, Pink Lady, Luck El Mando 420, surrounded by Keith Ferrari Farms, French Dwellers, Single Fathers, Happiness Without Kids, Richard Forbes, David Comenta, P4P Funk, Nicotine, John Reese, What About Bob, Prince Patty, Daniel Bergman, Green Puffin Man, B. Dung Lee, James Chung, Sarge Grows, 818, John Wayne, Carolina Roots, Sister Golden Hair, Deanna L, Thank Reno, KNF Farms, Blank 1030, Choose One, Only Feed, Jay Farmer, James, Crypto Dope, HIP Grower, Matt Javine, Dan Marino, Conic Wonder, Sunrise Grows, Top Floor Genetics, Mobius 420, Can 2 Cannabis, Jesse Fisher, My Dog Nelly, Roaster, Alex Hardy, and Hardy Gear, one of the same mini crapper, Daniel Grows, Photos, Mitten Grown, Sunrise Grows, my baby girls. I got to see all three today. I feel like a monkeys, man. Our No Limit 916, Grumpy Toad, Alchemist, and Cannon Mix, Soil Bone, Addiction, Ross, Joe, Alex D, Dirty Ore, Catfish, High Power, Thunder Dan, Propagation Station, John McDaniels, Lisa Marie, Sarge Grows 818, again, Day Blaze, Daily Pride, Piper, Perpetual Eagle Pride Warrior, Sarah Smiles for You, Frank Rosada, The Dank Duchess, Keno, Kelly, Maxwell, Captain 420, Sing Fat, What About Bob again, Ill Justin 420, Pop Shrooms, John Gorski, Don, Doe, Dugan, Gangsta, THC4PTSD, T Barrington, Honcho Grown, Swamp Kent, Parlaro, Cannabika, Best Because, Mr. Manny D, Canafari, 420 AB Normal, Frank Guerrero, Barefeet, John, or Jay Brett, 74, CK, Brown Guy, 420, Packager, 420, Burning Tree, Meds, EA, Grayson, Grow, 207, Hydro Daily, Hemp with GG, Jamie Reed, Supreme Grape, Stony Rockefeller. I'd like to do an episode with you, Stony. If you would, please get a hold of me if you hear this. Caveman Cannabis, Bruce City Synthetics, Hawaii Sustainable, Midnight Roots, Dead Cynic, Knuckles, Michael P, Polly B, Quick B, Nibble, Bud, Kilowatts, Michael D, Fold, 889, Disbanded Brothers, Massilian Matt Joseph, Grace, Machine RX, Keith and Chief, Hydro Daily, Concerned American Cannabis 41, Freedom of Speech, Dr. Joyce Word, These Trees, Ganja, Sudoku, 710 is Oil Upside Down, Jesse Stevenson, Victoria Badach. Hopefully I said that right. What about Bob again? What about Bob? Scared Guard, Gus Groves, Slick, Rick 8, Dog Pounds, Dave in Seattle, Raz Mo Watts. I know there's some more to that. Ed Wren, MN Grown, Uncle Elmer, Off Grid Terps, and there was Matt from SoCal right there. A couple other names I missed, but I will get them on the list. Last but not least, our good friend, Amazing Monitor, Amazing Mod in chat, Weedus 207. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Today is Monday, so today is the official wormhole. Join me at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where myself and hopefully a bunch of cool other folks will be here joining in on a great night. Moreover, guys, it's Monday. Have a great week. More importantly, please do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. This is the end of your journey. Get some rest. This is the beginning of your day. Again, make it a prosperous week, and please take time to do something nice for somebody, even if it's a compliment, free buds, a conversation. There's so many ways you can help somebody without hurting yourself or your pocketbook. Thank you very much. I'll see you tonight, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day. I'll see you tonight. Love you guys. Have a good one. One last time. I am